Welcome to Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode 176. 176! Now we're really in the home stretch to 200. I mean, now it's begun. 25 episodes and it's 200. So, I mean, it's pretty trippy, ain't it?
That's crazy. I like I was saying before, I can't believe how quickly from 100 to this point has been, just comparatively, because I said before, it just seemed like such a longer, well, it was a longer build to 100.
Yeah, here's the weird thing, though. It was such a long build to 100, I agree. Obviously, this stuff has gone quicker, but now when I think about episode 200, it's so long away, and it's only 24 shows. There's another way of thinking. I'm like, it's not going to be till January. It's May, right? So
True.
It's like, it's going to take us 24 shows to get to January. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it, when you think about it that way? It's like, holy shit, 24 whole shows. Yeah, weird, isn't it?
Yeah, well, because we're doing 36 now a year, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's going to tie right in. That's going to be a hell of a month. Although, on that whole topic of the 200, it seems so far that a lot of people think it's quite an undertaking task to make a list of 100, their top 100. You know what I mean? Where the way I see it, I guess I'm a freak in the whole thing because it's, number one, they have 5 months to turn it in. Labor Day out here is May the 5th, right? Or May the 5th. Sorry, today's, yeah, okay. Labor Day out here is September the 5th. So it's 5 months away, basically. That's a long time to be able to come up with a list of your top 100. And I'm thinking, oh boy, it's such a task. It's such a task. The first thing I did, I'm telling you, I sat down, I looked at all my Blu-rays. I looked around, I go, well, usually the movies that I really, really love, that I own, I'm going to own them on physical. Not every single time. Some of the 2010 ones, maybe not. But, I mean, I'm getting there. But I can look around the room and just doing that come up with like 50 or 60. I'm like, okay. Then you just start thinking. Now, luckily for me, I know not everybody has a podcast. And of those that do have podcasts, not everybody has ratings and keeps records. Where I have had every movie rated that I've watched since like 2013, and it's all in my notes in my phone. So it's all here. So for me, it's real easy. I just look for all the 10s. I go to the yearly show, see what I did 10, and then when I have all my 10s taken care of, I think about it again. I'm like, let me think about this. Are there any more 10s that I could think of besides what's on my shelf and what's written down here? Thought about that for like 10 minutes, and I was like, I don't think so. So there's a few that I want to see. There's a few highly regarded movies that I'm like, okay, maybe I should watch this movie now. Like the Phantom Carriage.
Highly regarded what that you missed?
You know,
the Phantom Carriage. What the hell is the Phantom Carriage?
People love that movie. People love that movie. Okay. It's a silent movie from the 20s. It's supposed to be amazing. There's, I haven't seen the.
So we are doing all time. Sorry, let's specify. Yeah. So we are doing the top 200 horror films of all time, but we figure that everybody's list is going to be vast enough that we're just asking for 100 so that we can concoct the 200 list from that.
Yeah, because I believe, like, remember when we did it? This is where I got this whole only needing 100. When we did the show with B, when we did the top 100 of the millennium, I think he said, and I wish I can go back and find that recording. I probably will. I think he said that there was like 176 submissions. But not submissions. There was 176 or something
movies.
Total movies. Only 100 can make the list. That's just one decade. I'm thinking people's feelings about movies spanning all decades, it's going to be a lot more than 200. Like I was talking to my buddy the other day, Glenn Wolfe, and he's going to make a list. And
remember, I think every time we mentioned his name, we would howl.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but
why not?
And maybe we did it once.
Yeah, well, it's okay. So we did it twice now. It's too early for me to howl. I can't do it till after the coffee. So Glenn said something. Some of the movies he was talking about. He goes, here's what two movies he mentioned to me. He goes, do you consider them horror? And that's another topic. It doesn't matter if I consider them horror. If you think it's a horror movie, by all means, put it on your list. We want this to be just fun. Whatever it is, it is. And he goes, the movies I was thinking about were The Hunt and The Lost Boys. Now, first and foremost, I didn't think anybody would include The Hunt on their top 100. whether I think it's a horror movie or not. But that's just one example of one person that told me one thing. I believe that everybody out there is going to have at least one movie on their list where they're probably going to be the only person to have that on their list. I may have
Spookies for Dave Parker.
Oh, I hope not. But if so, then so be it. Whatever it is, you never know with Dave Parker. His tastes, again, all our tastes are kind of radically different, but you do never know with him. He is a tough guy to nail. Because I'm just like, I look at some of his ratings sometimes. I watched a movie the other day for 94 because we're doing the 22 shots thing, and I'm thinking this is a Dave Parker movie. He's gonna love this movie, and sure enough, he fucking hated it. Then I look at some of the movies that he did rate high, and I'm like, wow, really? I didn't like that movie at all. And I think that there's going to be so many things, depending on how many people submit, that I think it's safe to say that everybody's going to have 10 movies on their list that nobody else has. I really think that that's a possibility. So I think it's going to be way over 200 movies. I mean, we'll see.
And do you think your 100 list is all going to be 10 out of 10s, or do you think you might be getting down to a 9 out of 10 range?
I have my list of how many 10 out of 10s I had, and I think it ended up being like 60. I started just making a list. I'm going to put.
I have a feeling there's no question that it's not going to be below 9. Definitely.
No,
not
I don't
9.
think so.
No question.
I have too many 9.5s. No, seriously, I have a lot of 9.5s, and that's just, for me, that's the easiest way for me to do it. I'm not going to rate a movie a 10 unless I think it's a freaking amazing movie, and I think it's one of the best horror movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got to try to find this list. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna how many I have. I'm gonna bore you, so I'll wait. We'll take a break, and I'll come back with it. But I'm gonna say safely, there's probably a good 60 10 out of 10s and a good 25 right now 9.5s, and that's now with, you know what I mean. So it's like, and one of them just became a 9.5. I had it at a 9.5, and then I bumped it down to a 9, and then I reviewed it recently, and it was a 9.5 again. It came back up, and I had a discussion on the podcast about this. Not this podcast, but we did a review of it, and I was talking about it.
What movie?
I'll tell you. No, I don't care. It's Killing of a Sacred Deer. The first time I saw it, I made my top 5 that year. I gave it a 9.5. I loved it. The second time I went back and revisited, I still loved it, but not quite as much. I'm like, well, maybe I was a little higher on this movie. Then I was on 22 Shots, and we had this discussion. I was talking to them, and some of the just, if you listen to that review, you would understand. Just like we do here. Sometimes you have a discussion, and other people pull different things out of it that you may not have noticed, and you get deeper in it, and you're like, wow, that's great. And it just rises. It just rises in your head and the way you feel about the movie, and that's what happened. And I went back to a 9.5. So now it makes the list. But that's me. So for me, it's easy because why overthink it? I mean, I can't get into the game. I can't.
I remember really enjoying that. I believe, I know that it took me a while to get used to the way that they delivered their dialogue, because that seems to be a trait of the director. But I also remember it being kind of fringe. Is it officially horror? I'm going by.
To me, it's horror. It's a guy that put a curse on somebody's family for revenge, and they were all going to die unless somebody called off the curse. How could it not be horror?
Yeah, true.
What other genre would it be where I can put a curse on your family because you did me wrong somehow?
Comedy.
You're right. It could be in the right context. It could be comedy. That's the thing about horror. Yeah. I mean, hell, you got witches in comedies. It's hard to say, but still, in all seriousness. But again, like I said to everybody else, if you think it's horror, this is the movie. By all means, put it on your list. We're not going to be gatekeeping shit like this. I don't want to do that anyway. Despite.
I will. No, I agree. We had this discussion, and I agree.
Yeah.
I was trying to go by memory but you're right. You're right. That's exactly it. The whole plot. And I remember I'm remembering how it plays out. I will have to revisit that again. I don't think I was high as you. I think I was at the 7.5 mark.
Well, there's a lot going on here. I mean, from aesthetically.
I remember.
It depends on what you're into. Like me, if I'm blown away by the atmosphere and by the cinematography and certain things like that, that already is going to boost it a certain. It's almost automatically a 5. Like if I think a movie is just top notch, you know, aesthetically, top notch. If it's top notch aesthetically, I can't go below a 5 because I don't find that because I still enjoy it. I enjoy it enough, and I think it's a good enough movie to be at least a 5 because of I could see the love that went into it. But if that's where it ends, and everything else doesn't do one thing for me, and I have problems with the plot or this or that, or the other thing, then I can't go higher. But that's just the way it is. Like, I don't see how some people can look at a movie that is just so well made and say it's a 2 out of 10 or so. That to me, those rankings are saved for movies that there's really, really nothing good going on there. Enough to make it a 2 instead of a 1. But I mean, still watchable, and it's just, I don't know. It's tough.
I am gonna say that I'm not against silent or older films. I understand, the historic relevance. I had to study them at film school because it was all theory and history when the courses I was studying at the time. Immediately though, I will also judge on the rewatchability factor and would I put it on. And a lot of times those ones I will not just put on. There's maybe one exception, and that's Nosferatu, 1922. And that
let
one
me ask you.
is the one that I will put on. And again, I will say that is from a nostalgic factor of the image alone. There's these 2 shots, 2 frames that were in a horror book that my father had when I grew up. And I believe I told the story on the show before, but like in usual fashion, rinse and repeat. We tell them again. My buddy and I would flip to the page, see the image, and scream and run out of the room.
Awesome.
And that was from a still in a book.
Awesome.
So when I actually saw the movie, I was already kind of terrified of it in the imagery and just the way the shots are framed and the usage of arches and all that. It's fantastic because it was a different way of storytelling at the time. So I get it. I can understand maybe someone else has that same feeling with, what was it, Bringing Up Baby? What was the one you were talking about? The Carriage of Doom? What was the one you brought up earlier?
The Phantom Carriage. I don't know why I pulled that one out. I just know it's highly regarded. So I was like, so I pulled that one out.
The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Nosferatu. Those are the ones that I've always known were highly regarded.
Haven't seen Caligari.
The Baby Carriage of Death, I've never heard of before. So it's interesting. Maybe I'll have to check it out. I don't know they're going to rank necessarily high. I know.
Did you call it the Baby Carriage of Death?
Yes.
That's fucking great. I thought it was another movie I didn't know about for a second. Then it registered.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I checked the title like 5 times on it. The Phantom. Oh, and how can I forget the one other one that was very instrumental, The Phantom of the Opera. And there's various versions of that one, but that one with Lon Chaney, Sr., was again the image of him being unmasked and whatever, frightening, terrifying. Sure. So that one I'll give that one I'll give credit to. But I don't know if there will be if I had to go right now, and I'll bring up like I said, I'll check that Carriage one out. But ultimately, I would say that if any of them showed up on my list, it would probably be The Phantom of the Opera and Nosferatu. Nosferatu for sure, and The Phantom of the Opera. Then maybe the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which I think is more highly regarded than maybe even the other 2.
And I haven't seen it. See,
overall standpoint, but I think I gravitate towards those other 2 more. But then there will be like the universal standpoint, and I think I know that was it you that has a couple of you haven't seen all of those either?
I haven't seen all of them. I'm slowly getting there, but I'll tell you this: I've seen the big ones. I've seen maybe not all the sequels to the big ones, but I've seen Dracula, I've seen Bride, I've seen Wolfman, I've seen Creature, I've seen The Mummy, I've seen The Frankenstein. I've seen these movies. Problem for me is this: I am yet to see a movie before 1960, I should say, that I have given a rating of above an 8. As great as I think they are, there are still elements of the movie that I check out, and they're short movies, and sometimes I'm still getting bored. And you could say that's on you because you check out with dialogue, but do I really check out with dialogues? Look at some of the other movies that I love that are just loaded with dialogue and that are 3 hours fucking long, and there's discussion after discussion. I just think that people regard them because it's great to respect what came before doesn't mean it's the best. Like, just because the Sex Pistols and the Clash and whatever, they were the first regarded punk groups or whoever you want to throw in there, doesn't mean that they're the best. Other people might have come around after and perfected the fucking punk music or something. And that's just one example. I'm not going to say fucking
Watch your tongue, boy, if you like this job.
What's that?
Sorry.
Oh. I'm not gonna say Grandmaster Caz and Africa Bambaataa and fucking the early MCs of rap are on my top 5 fucking MCs because they were the pioneers. It doesn't make sense to me. I respect what they started with, but I'm not gonna be. I can't be that. If I think that these people here did it better, I can't just blindly say, well, I gotta respect what came before and what they created and how Grandmaster Flash came up with the way they were scratching, which became real big in the 80s. He was a pioneer in that method. I respect the hell out of it, but it doesn't mean that, they're the best. Like, if I'm making a short list that I have to say, well, this person's better than this. To me, that doesn't, and I'm not knocking anyone that loves Universal films. For me personally, I go in with an open mind, and I'm excited. I want to love the movies. It isn't like I will go into the movie and say, okay, sometimes I've seen a movie before that's highly regarded by everybody else, and then I go back for a second view, maybe for a podcast, and I say to myself, okay, this is going to be the time I'm really going to it's really going to take me in, and I'm really going to see what everybody's talking about. Sometimes it happens. More often, it just doesn't happen. And so that's just me. I haven't seen a movie above an 8 before the year 1960. And maybe shame on me, but I can't help it. That's just the way I feel when I watch them.
And that's fine. That's your opinion.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people in our group that will be hard pressed to find a movie before, maybe 1965 or 1970. And again, so be it. They just can't get into the older films, and that's okay. Eric Webster, I think, was one of the ones that mentioned it on her show. He tries, though. He'll try to watch them. I think Chris A.K.A. Scott said the same thing to me in text, like he just can't get into the older ones. And from the Universal ones, I mean, everybody has their favorites, but Bride of Frankenstein is, I think, no pun intended, universally looked at as the best of the batch. I mean, if I have to go back and look at them, I mean, I remember liking Frankenstein, Dracula, Bride of Frankenstein, and the Wolfman. Sounds like a cop-out. I don't remember liking the original Mummy that much as well.
What about
or
these
the
two?
Sequels?
Invisible Man and Creature from the Black Lagoon, I think, are very good.
Yeah, the Invisible Man, they're both good. They're both good, yeah. And I love Creature, like the actual monster himself. They're both good. I would have to go back and revisit. But I don't know what will actually end up on my final list. Of 200 movies, something's going to be there, no question. That's 100. A lot of slots to fill. Oh, yeah, 100 for shit. 100 films. Something may be there. Still a lot of slots to fill. But from a rewatch standpoint, I will rewatch more of the modern films. It's just the reality of it. Should that come into play? I think so. Like, I mean, to me, then we're arguing that what's best versus favorite. Favorite's something that you're going to go back and revisit over and over again, and you consider it the best. You say you don't differentiate the two, but there's some that will say, well, these are the best because of the influence they've had and what they led to, but my favorites are these. And whatnot. So, favorite would, again, I'll go back to the argument that best would be more of a universal, like, a combination of all the critics. So if you've got all these lists that we bring together that say Bride of Frankenstein's the best movie ever, then that's it. But I'm pretty sure Bride of Frankenstein's not their favorite film ever.
See, and that's why. Yeah, see, and that's the thing, like a movie like Bride of Frankenstein, you could say, I mean, I can respect the impact it had. I can respect the filmmaking of it historically and everything else. But when you sit down and watch it, if you're sitting on if you're locked in a room your entire life, how about this? This is the way I'm going to put it. Let's say let's say let's just say you are born like the boy in the bubble. You can't leave the room. Okay? You are, however, luckily enough for you, you happen to have wealthy parents. And you unfortunately have to live your life in this bubble and stay inside all of your life. However, they make a movie. Well, you don't have a whole lot of choice. You're probably gonna get involved in music or movies or porn, and how far is that gonna go? But I mean, so it's like, what are you gonna do? So you're
Did someone clean out the interior of this bubble? It's getting a little messy.
Imagine that you're slipping on your own. You're slipping on your own, trying to climb.
It's like a hamster in a wheel.
Oh, that would stink too. Oh my God. Even if it's your own. But anyway.
You're your own jizz mop.
Madonna. Shit. So you got these movies coming in, and people are walking in, and you decide it comes up. They show you a bunch of different movies, and you just happen to take a liking to horror, and you tell people, "Hey man, I want to see more of this horror movie stuff. Give me as many as you can." And every day you watch 3 horror movies. Okay. So if do you really think that you're going to bring in this movie from this decade, this, and this? If you really believe that someone's going to put on Bride of Frankenstein, you have no knowledge of anything except this is the movie placed in front of you. You're going to watch that and you're going to say that's the best horror movie. I mean, salute if that's your opinion. That's fine. But to me, again, this is why best and favorite are the same. But to me, best is just as subjective as favorite. So, because you're declaring this the best. Just because you declare it the best doesn't make it the best. You think it's the best. Therefore, to me, that means it's your favorite. I'm declaring this that. But you can only declare something the best. You could say it's the best made. You could say it had the best impact on the genre as a whole because of whatever reasons you want to throw it out there. It doesn't mean that it's the best. But do you think that someone is really going to watch Bride of Frankenstein with no knowledge of anything, taking it as a fucking 90-minute movie or less, watch that movie and say, holy fuck, that is the best damn movie I've ever seen? I don't get it.
There will be people, but it'll be a very small percentage, and less and less and less as it goes on. Now you're going to get the people that are the ones that want to dig deeper into the history. What started this? Like there are people like that.
Right,
like
that's
not
fine.
Just not theorists, like just regular fans, but they are a small percentage. More likely, they're going to be like, what's this boring piece of shit black and white movie? I hate to say it. That's just the reality of it. Not my thought process, but I'm saying that is what I expect majority will say moving forward. That doesn't mean it's everybody's opinion, but I think it will be a smaller, and even diehard horror fans, within the diehard horror fans group, there are people that just can't watch those movies and can't appreciate or enjoy them. So they won't even subject themselves to it. Right, wrong, doesn't matter. That's just their opinion, and they want new. And there are people like that don't even rewatch movies really, that just want to new almost each and every time. But so I agree to an extent, but there will always be someone that's like, I want to go back and see how this genre started and was built and look at it from a historical standpoint. And then we'll say, oh my gosh, this one to me stood out.
Oh yeah, I get
there
that.
There are people doing that now with these re-releases of 70s and 80s movies that are lost treasures that were totally forgotten and essentially pissed, shit, and jizzed on back in the day that are now holy shit day one buys, as we joke about that are now newfound.
We're talking about one later.
Exactamando.
Okay. It's true and that's what happens, like straight up. But I mean, you can't, like, I have 100% respect for someone who's a fan of something that wants to go back to its roots. And that's why I've done it. And it isn't even so much about the black and white, even if they were in color. I can tell you what, just to keep it on the Universal monsters, just for a moment. Being a kid, when we grew up, and us having the 80s boom and the slasher boom and all the great stuff that was going on in the 80s, to be going there down the shelves, or you don't even have to go down the video shelves. You'd see it on your TV on Saturday mornings and on Halloween. You knew what Dracula and Frankenstein's monster, you knew what these things were. They're pop culture. They are everywhere. Now, to see those things and to see those kind of movies, even in the clips you see, number one, they're black and white, and a lot of kids are just not going to be interested when it's color now. And I get that. I can't expect my daughter to. My daughter doesn't even like watching movies. Okay, no, that makes her sound spoiled. My daughter immediately notices if she watches a movie that's not in high def. It's the generation. She can't help. It doesn't make her a bad person or someone that's just like dismissive. But
Damn her.
But it's like.
And happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
Although that will be way in the past by the time this episode.
This is true. That girl. So yeah, she'll watch it though. Like she'll watch it, but immediately she'll say, "How come it looks so old-fashioned or something?" Or But she sees enough of it. She sees me watch stuff on VHS or not on VHS, stuff that's been like ripped to VHS. It's VHS quality, so she knows the difference. Yeah, she knows the difference. But I mean, she's come up on everything being high def and everything. So for her to want to watch something that is not high def, she'll watch it. But I don't think you're going to have an appreciation. You're automatically going to be dismissive of it being like lesser than, even if it's great. But you just can't. So I think we had the same. Okay, maybe not you. I think I had the same mentality, and the people I hung out with in the 80s. We're watching this, and we're seeing gore, and we're seeing all this other stuff that's going on, practical effects, fucking Savini and Bottin and everything going on with amazing stuff, right? So Rick Baker. So you're seeing all this stuff happening. Then you're going to go back and watch these slower moving, dialogue-heavy movies built around long story, that they try to fit. And it's Dracula and Frank, and you know who they are. But for me, at that age, I was not interested in seeing that type of horror. And I wish I were that type of person as a teenager that was curious about what came before and let's show it respect? Sure. But that didn't come till later. But it's hard.
I was different, though, because my dad was a film buff and didn't like modern horror because he wasn't a big horror person. Like I said, we've talked about before, he was Hitchcock. So I came up on Hitchcock films, but he showed me the old Universal movies.
Nice.
So I did see them growing up, and I did like them. And then I saw the Hammer ones, well, a little bit older, and not all of them, but like a handful of those Dracula ones, which resonated with me and stayed with me. And I liked them too. And I told you again from episode 1 that we talked about this and the history of how it got us into horror and whatever. The Innocents. They showed it to me, and I remember I didn't think this is, old-fashioned or whatever. I said, oh my God, this movie is scaring the hell out of me, and I'm not going to watch it. I'm just going to turn my head this way because I'm scared. Tell me when it's over.
Wow.
And so I didn't have this feeling, but I'm noticing it now. If I put on The Innocents for my daughter, if I put on one of those old Universal movies, she appreciates horror films. She will try to give it a chance, but she will. I don't want to speak for her, but I will since she's not here. I believe she would be thoroughly bored. I believe she would be. Maybe not all the time, but I think she might give up on some of those movies. I think if she was to put it on herself, I think she would say like, nope, not for me. This is too old for my likings, and move on. And be it. Is she missing out on a great movie? Yeah, but I can't. If you force it on them, it's not going to make them like it anymore.
No.
I think of all the movies that I was forced to watch for film class or whatever it may be, or whatever over the years, or even for our show. Not forced, but we had to watch it for a review. Sometimes it's just not gonna work. I appreciate being able to watch it because now I can check one off the list. But so it's a really odd argument because, again, we're talking about other people's preference and tastes. So these lists will be interesting because I want to see. I suspect that Ram Man will have a very varied list.
Yes, list. He does.
I think he will have one too. I'm not saying that other people won't, but if you get a list from Chris, aka Scott, I almost guarantee that maybe I don't know his take on Psycho, but maybe with the exception of like Psycho or some one or two others from the 60s, he will have nothing from before then. Just based on my conversations with him and whatnot. And again, I don't fault him. So be it. Yeah.
That's what's fun about the list. That's what I'm saying. Don't take it seriously. That's what I keep telling about. Don't take it so seriously. Go with your heart. Think of your 100 movies. Think of one who you think about. Even go Desert Island fucking thing. That's what I always go back to that Desert Island thing. If you're going out, what 100 movies are you going to bring with you if you can? Like,
perfect way of doing it.
Right?
Desert Island list.
I really want to see them. Now, that doesn't always necessarily, that can break some time.
Prom Night 4. Hey, Prom Night 4 just debuted on Shudder.
Really?
At least Shudder Canada. Shudder Canada. Prom Night 4 is now on Shudder Canada.
Man, Shudder is stepping it up lately with all the French movies and other things. And you know what they're doing though? They're having the Netflix effect where they're only being there for a short time and leaving. Like when I noticed that they're having gimmicks. Like they were doing the folk horror thing for a while, and a bunch of folk horror movies came up for like a month or two, then some went away. Now maybe they're doing the French Extreme thing for a while in foreign films or whatever, and they're gonna go up for a while. They may go away. Get on Martyrs while you can, and Livid, which we've never been able to see, which is finally somewhere, and I still haven't seen it, but it's saved on my thing. But the thing is, I fear that they're going to do it like Netflix style, but even shorter, where they're not going to stick around for a year. They may stick around for just a few months. So if you see something that's new, that's kind of rare, I would say watch it as soon as you can. But they have been doing that. So
yeah.
Oh, there's two things. Chris, a.k.a. Scott, sent me the book. Haven't read it yet. It arrived today about Matthew McConaughey's experiences Dazed and Confused and stuff like that. And it's again,
there's
it's
a
still
whole
in the
book.
package. Yeah, let me see what he says. He sent me a package. Right?
It's called All Right, All Right?
I don't know what it's called. I forgot because let me see if he said it. Because let's see. I have to look. See, I'm so terrible about people sending me things. I'm appreciative, but I'm almost. When they do send me things, I'm like, well, here's the issue. I barely check the mail. And when I do check the mail, if it's not a bill, whatever it is, I take it and I put it on a counter. I don't even fucking look at it. And if it's something that I have to read, fuck, I might not. Ordinarily, if there's a book come my way, I might not read the thing for a year. But now because it's sent to me, I'm like, well, I'm going to sit down and read it because I know they're going to want to know my thoughts on it. But hold on. Let's see what he says. What is the book? I'm listening to the episode, loving the show. You're currently talking about... Oh, it's the Dreaming the Dead Grandparents. That's something else. Okay, hold on. What did he say, though? He has that dream, too, about dead grandparents. Okay, yeah, it is called All Right, All Right, All Right. It says, The Oral History of Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused. Okay? You should read this book. I read it a few weeks ago. It's amazing. Incredible behind-the-scenes stories of the making of the movie. Okay, so it's a making of the movie book that he sent to me, which thank you again. I have to read it still. I gotta say it's still in the package. I just took it out, not out of the package, took it out of the mailbox. So I'm getting it. It's gonna be much worse when my wife's not here because she's going away for fucking trading, and I'm like, fuck the fucking mail because like 99% of my bills are paid online, so I don't give a fuck, and everything else that comes, I really don't give a fuck either. I call her
mostly
mail.
junk mail, man. I go to the mailbox now, and it's all junk mail.
I know.
With one letter, maybe two that are important or somewhat important that come a week. Because pretty much I get e-statements for anything I want. Like you say, I pay everything online. So but they still Hydro and Gas feel the need to still send you the monthly bill, even though I just look at it to make sure that payments are gone when you work on digital receipt, but I want to make sure they've got it. But that's it. But other than that, it's mostly like this pizza joint. Are you selling your house? You need your ducts cleaned? Go fuck yourself. Like, I mean, it's just it's just bullshit.
I know, dude. And then it goes right into the recycle bin, which, by the way, I don't know how they do it in Canada, or maybe not just Canada, your city or whatever. They're called cities, right? City of Niagara Falls? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we use the term cities here as well.
Well, because
towns.
Okay, just making sure because I forget my memory shit. I haven't been in Canada in a while.
We're villages, actually.
We have villages.
The village
here.
of Toronto. Yeah, the village of Toronto.
No, it's not. It's not the village of Toronto. I know that much. Fuck. But we have little villages here. So why did I ask about Toronto? Okay, no. Okay. I don't know how often your recycling shit comes, but these cocksuckers here, they only come every 2 weeks. No, fuck them. Wow. Because, number one, they're Nazis. They won't take half the shit you try to give them, which is recyclable. The sign is literally on the thing with the recycle symbol, and they say, no, we can't take. They won't take styrofoam. They won't take a few other things. The box has to be this. There can't be tape on the box. So now, they only come every other week. I don't know about your household, but I have just as many things that are recyclable as trash. Now, wonderful that they have recycle bins, but I have to literally throw in the trash half of my recyclables because the bin fills up in a week. And these fuckers won't take anything that's not in a bin.
You
And
can't
it's
put it in
not,
multiple bins? I have like 3 bins
no,
that I put out.
no, you're only allowed to use one. I even had an extra bin
Wow.
that from another a city that I had. It was just a thing. It was just because I wanted to, I like to recycle. Why would I not? So, I mean, this is what pisses me off. They only come every other week. So now I'm forced to fucking throw shit out into the trash that I don't
Weird.
want to throw out. Yeah, that's
So
the
we
problem.
get it. Sorry, we get
No,
recycling every week. We get recycling every week, and I could put out 3 bins. If I had 4 bins, I'm sure I could put them out, and they're almost always full because I guess we just do we have a lot of packaged stuff, plus like boxes from Amazon, whatever it may be. They're
tons of
always
shit.
full. So like that goes out every
Well,
week, and then
cardboard.
we also have green bin. So the green bin goes out every week, and that's like that could be things like Kleenex, but I don't put Kleenex in that typically. But like paper things, waste, eggshells, like food stuff that can go in the green bin. That's every week. Garbage is every 2 weeks here. So every second week you had your garbage. Now I don't know, like a story that I've got is that garbage is every second week. So then I put out like 2 bins full of garbage every 2 weeks because there's 5 of us here. I look at our neighbors and they've got even more people living at the house because they converted their basement into 2 apartments for their kids. So it's like nice. There's like probably 7 of them living there, but because of them in the basement or whatever, they 1 little bag of garbage. I'm like, what the fuck? They must be bringing it to work or something. I'm like, how can that be? I'm looking at like them and like 1 little bag of garbage out on the thing every 2 weeks, and I've got these 2 garbage pails brimmed in with bags in them up to the top.
Yeah, man.
For
Yeah,
every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks.
Wow, I don't understand those people. What you're doing makes sense. I would not be able to get by with just every other week. It just wouldn't happen. I've had not many times, but there's been weeks where, fucking it was overflowing. I gotta smush it down, and that's just for 1 week. So I don't know, but these sons of that's what pisses. How did I get on the recycle thing? Oh, because all the stuff I know, because all the junk mail, because that's where it immediately goes. Okay. As soon as I get the junk mail, before I even get into my house, because I only get the mail. Here's when I get the mail. If I get the mail that day, it's when I come home from work. I open the garage door. As the garage door is opening, I park my car in the driveway. I get out. I go and I grab the mail, and then I will walk up, go back in my car, pull in the garage, and throw it into the recycle bin if it needs to be recycled. So that's when I do it. On the days I decide to check the mail. Me, personally, I couldn't give fucking 2 shits about the mail, but a lot of times my wife will ask me, oh, did you check the mail? The mail? I call her Miss Mail. She loves the fucking mail. Completely opposite of me. Oh, everything I'm in.
I do too because I don't want to miss anything that's important. The downfall is there's very rarely anything important, as we mentioned.
What could be important? Everything, like I said, every bill I pay is taken out, and I don't have paper statements. I stopped all paper statements because I'm not going to waste the paper. Everything is sent digitally, and I have it. So the only thing that could possibly come from me, there is one bill that comes, and I know when it's going to come, and I have to write it by check because their phone system fucking locked me out because one day I got a new checking account, right? One day I pressed the wrong number on one of the numbers in the checking account, and I've been locked out ever since. Those fucking cocks. I even called them. Then they said, oh, you're back in. It didn't work again. So because I pressed one button once wrong, I'm completely locked out of doing it automated on their freaking site. So I have to. So I literally buy a book of stamps just for them and maybe Christmas time. That's it. That's the only stamps I need to use. I don't send nothing out. Occasionally, heaven forbid, you get a fucking invite to a wedding. But usually there's and I just got one.
Heaven forbid.
This is the last one I am going. I'm going to one in June. Out of respect. I hate them too. I don't like leaving the house. So it's like out of respect for who it is, I am going to go to this wedding, but I've declared it. This is it. In the future, I am not going to go. I am going to send an envelope. And if it's someone I'm close enough to, I'm going to give them a call and explain why. Not only do I just not want to go, but now with COVID, supposedly my 3-month thing is over since I've had it. I could go out and get it, And everybody, check it now. COVID. Last Sunday was Francesca's birthday party, so we were there. Okay, that was Sunday. It was at my mother's house. It was me, my mother, my stepfather, my family, and my brother Mike and his wife. Well, flash forward, it is now Sunday. My mother, my stepfather, my brother, all COVID. Boom, fucking one get together we go to. Everybody's got fucking COVID. Now,
This
my mother and
this has been
my
the time frame, man. Like
Dude,
I said, I just got over it. It's even worse than before. Yeah.
Jamie got it. A kid I work with got it. So now I don't care what anybody says about any of it. I don't know what to believe. So I'm not going anywhere. We were supposed to go to the movies yesterday, and that's another story. If we had time, I'll get to that fucking fiasco. But now I'm not going anywhere because I don't know what to. My parents literally got their 4th fucking vaccination or shot that morning on Tuesday morning, and started showing symptoms that night, and they just thought that it was because of the shot.
The shot.
Turns out my brother was showing symptoms Wednesday. He hasn't been vaccinated. He hasn't gotten the shot at all. So then I find out the next day that he has it. Now, first thing I tell Mike, I said, well,
how's he doing, by the way? The only reason I'm asking is because with no vaccination, is he getting hit hard?
The best of any of them. It's already fucking gone. I'm telling you, viewers, I don't care what anybody. This is what I've learned. There is no rhyme or reason to any of it. Yeah. These people are fucked up. My brother got it. He got it.
You never know, right?
And a kid I work with is unvaccinated. In and out in fucking 4 days. Now you got this other guy here, like my parents. They're on their 4th fucking vax. Granted, they're more elderly, so they're going to struggle with it more. And they are. And my brother has even said, if I was elderly, I would probably get the vaccination because I don't know if it's going to do anything. I don't know if I believe in it, kind of like me. But better safe than sorry when you're at that age, and that's fine. I respect that. But it's like, so everybody got this shit just like that. I don't even know where the fuck I was going with it. Bottom line is,
I derailed you. Sorry, but I think you're talking about how I think that's where you're going with it. Is that the fact that like they got it. Being vaccinated, your brother. Well, I mean, and we know people can get it being vaccinated, but it's supposed to lessen the severity of it. Fuck. And you said your brother, who wasn't vaccinated, had. And again, it's not about false information being spread out. It's just saying how wacky this whole fucking thing is. Like that's exactly it. And that's why I think we have to do what we have to do. And I think we've done everything we need to do. I've done all my due diligence. I've gotten my 3 shots. I've had it. It sucks. I'm not saying I believe, I disbelieve. I'm just saying that I did everything I need to do to try to lessen the severity or not to pass it on, whatever it may be. But again.
Well, dude, I'm not going anywhere. This is what, shots or not, this is what I've learned. I was this way before. I'm so strong about it now. They just had they had to cancel the fish shows at Madison Square Garden. They do 4 shows. They did, okay. So they had to cancel.
Stern.
New Year's
talked
Eve.
About it. They went to some of the people went to a fish show and they got COVID. Sorry for cutting you up, but
right. No, you're right.
I just heard
that's
this.
What I was getting at. And to get into the fish show, you have to show them the fucking card that says you're vaccinated. So you have a whole place, Madison Square Garden, for a 4-day run of people that are vaccinated, and it become a fucking hotbed, whatever it is. Yeah. It doesn't fucking matter. If you got the shot, if you don't have the fucking shot, people are going places and getting fucking sick. And again, this is what I said for me. Whether or not I believe the vaccination works or doesn't isn't important. I'm still a carrier. Okay? So even if somebody goes to a fish show, right? They go to the fucking concert, they get it, and it's very mild, like my brother has, or like some people, some people get it very mild. They pass it on to this guy. They pass it on to the fucking elderly person in their family. That person fucking dies from it. That is why people shouldn't fucking go anywhere. Stay the fuck home.
So it's funny. The vaccinations is one argument, but the staying at home, and this is what we did. Everybody wanted to get out and about. They felt their rights were being violated and whatever. And that's the issue is maybe if we just fucking contained it more. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but that's the problem. The world goes on. People don't give a fuck. And we're in the situation we're in, and it's just going to continue, as you've mentioned before. But I'll do whatever I need to do to lessen the severity of it. But again, I'm only going to get another shot if they continually tell me that's been updated, and it should hopefully lessen the fact that I won't end up on a respirator or in a hospital. If they can't confidently tell me that, then I'll probably be like, okay, I did my due diligence now, and then we move forward and we just do what we have to do. But I mean, ultimately, I don't want to get another Pfizer shot just because there's another Pfizer shot. I'm hoping that it will be fucking updated so that it has
right.
for coronavirus, the B, or for Omicron, the B2 variant, whatever the fuck it's called, and whatever. I understand it can't be. Yeah, Delta this, Delta that, Alpha, Beta, whatever the fuck. Just get it all fucking mixed together.
Beta.
Yeah. And then tell me to come get it.
This is the thing. That's the difference. When we get a shot for polio, or when we get a fucking measles shot, like we get now, we got them when we were kids. My daughter got them. Your kids got them, I'm sure. That you get, and guess what? You never get the fucking thing. It's almost like a flu shot. Is it gonna work? I don't know. Maybe, but take it and see what. I don't get flu shots. I got it once, and knock on wood, up until COVID, I never ever got sick with anything. So when I tell people how sick I got for 6 fucking weeks plus, and they're like, well. I go, no, I'm the healthiest fucking person. Okay, not the healthiest person in my family, but I'm the person that usually does not get sick when people around him are getting sick. I just do not. So it was a total surprise that I got smacked in the fucking in the face this hard. There's no fucking rhyme or reason to it or anything. And that's
Shouldn't that make it scarier, though? You're saying the exact same thing. This is what I don't understand. This makes it the scariest thing ever, but people are like, oh, it's the sniffles. Because you got the sniffles, but your fiance or your friend could die. We don't know, and that's the problem. And it's not pro this, that, and I don't even think there's any politicalness to this. The fact that this has been
shouldn't be
politicized drives me fucking crazy. It's just about the fact of how crazy it is. Like your brother, not vaccinated, mild symptoms. Great.
Yep.
Lucky for him. But you and
said, his wife.
What if he passed it on and they died or something like that? Who the fuck knows? And that's the problem. That's what we're living with. But I'll try to do what I can do to keep myself and my family safe and kind of as a respect factor. That's why the mask mandate's off. We wore these masks at the event we were at. There are people that weren't wearing masks. The event was for 55 plus. It was more, they don't want to call it seniors because it's 55 plus, but mostly elderly people were there. So I'm doing it. I got to be respectful of the fact that if I fucking found out, not that I would probably ever find out, that I passed it on to somebody and they died from it, because this was just this was like an industry event. Like it was people walking around from all walks of life. So you'll never know. But I'm masked up. I'm going to be masked up for this because there's elderly people that we're talking to that are coming by. They're getting freebies, this, that, and the other thing. Like, you got to respect. I feel if I wasn't wearing a mask, it was me being disrespectful in a sense. Like, fuck you. Your health means nothing to me. Yeah.
I agree, but too bad that a lot of the elderly are the most careless of all. Like, this is why I told Mike. When Mike told me he got it, the first thing I said was, I hope Mom doesn't get it. And do you know why I said that? Because I didn't think that Mike got it on his own, because Mike, he's not some white winger because he's against the vax. He is a person that doesn't believe in it, like me, where I've got to the point that I don't know who to trust and I'm not just going to do it. So it's like Mike goes nowhere. He comes here on Friday nights, and we've all had COVID this whole time. Now listen, though. He goes nowhere. He doesn't go in stores. He wears a mask everywhere he goes. The only place he goes is work. He goes to work, and he goes, and I wear a mask at work with the 8 people that are left at his job. Everybody else is remote or got laid off. So he goes, because that's the first thing I thought, how the fuck did Mike get COVID? And the first thing I thought, Mom and Bill. They just got back from Florida a fucking couple weeks ago. Those fuckers go everywhere. They can't fucking stay home. These are the people. And sure enough,
Florida's like the fucking Wild West in a sense too.
And they brought it to him, not the other way around, because they can't stay home. Now my mother tells me that she has her 2 friends, both probably in 70s, right, that are at the house. And one of her friends has a husband who has a bad situation in life. Now she goes, and I feel guilty. These people get together once a week. Just because they had the shot, they think they could get together once a week and have coffee at my mom's house and everything's going to be fine. Fucking no. And this is it. People were talking in the past, usually right-wingers that I work with tell me, oh, it's natural selection.
Exactly.
Old people are going to die from it. Old and sick. Well, they're going to die anyway. You know what I say? I say it's natural selection.
That's fucking a horrible attitude.
I say this.
I say this. Die anyway. So are you, buddy. Not you, but them.
I hate.
No,
this is what I say. I say it is natural selection. People that can't stay the fuck home, they're going to fucking die. Instead of being smart and staying home like me, Go out, go to parties, go here, go to fucking this, go to bars, guess what, motherfucker? You're part of the problem. I don't care if you got a fucking shot or not, or wear a mask. Guess what? I've been saying this the whole time. It ain't going away, especially if things are opened up. It comes down to money. And yeah, dude, people want to go. I want to go to fish shows. And maybe I'm an asshole and I'm contradicting myself because I am going to go to a fucking fish show. That is the only
Toronto.
I know. I'll be there. August 10th. August the 10th. So the thing is, that is the only thing I'll go to. So Dave is fucking, he's fucking talking out of both sides of his mouth. Maybe I am.
But you'll wear your mask there probably, right?
And that's all I have. That's the only thing I want to go to is just give me one fucking thing. Let me go see fucking fish when I can. I mean, I don't go anywhere. We were going to go to the movies yesterday and I didn't want to go. I was like, fuck. Last time I went to the movies, I got sick. Now, the night before, I went to dinner and stayed the night at the hotel, but the next morning I went to a movie. Who's to say where I caught it? It could have been at either. So I don't know. So I was like, it's weird to say, but I was like, didn't want to go. We didn't end up going because Taco Bell are fucking assholes and they fucked up. Don't even get me started there, but we didn't make it into the movie. But whatever.
Everybody's an asshole. We won't talk about COVID anymore, everybody. But you know what? We are living the horror movie. This is Contagion, but the very early stages of it. We all joked about it before. Tons of people have died, but no one wants to remember that. And I know the numbers are skewed because, again, there's only reports. Everybody that died seemed to die of COVID, and they weren't reporting other deaths. I understand that there's those arguments as well. However, I mean, conspiracy theories aside and all that stuff, the reality is we have gone through it. I agree with Dave. It's not necessarily going anywhere, especially with the way people are pretty much done with it anyway. So we are going to live with it, but meaning this will just get stronger and evolve into something else that will eventually then attack again. And eventually it's just, instead of it being within, 6 to 12 months, a movie would show you, this will be over 20 years, and then we'll see what happens. And I'm not trying to be, again, no conspiracy theory. We're going to die from a superbug down the road. Down the road. I don't know when it will be.
How about this?
But it will be down the road.
How about this? I mentioned this to my brother the other day in text. I go, how do we know that 10 years from now, everybody that has had COVID just drops dead? We don't know.
And that's what we don't know. That's the horror movie part. See? It's a gamble. Craps. I agree with you. We don't know the long-term effects. We just assume it's going to hit us like a cold, and we've survived colds time and time and time again. We've survived the flu, most of us anyway, time and time again. But we don't know what this will be. But people are like, stop living in fear. I'm not living in fear, but I'm not going, oh my God, what's going to happen to me in 20 years? But now I fucking evaded it for 2 years. Like I said the last show, and I got it. I'm pissed that I got it. Because I thought I was being safe, and then, one little wrong move, and then you're done. So now I don't know. But am I thinking about it day in and day out? Absolutely not. That's not how my mind works. But yeah, how do we not know that something happens, or now I get heart disease 10 years from now, or something in my lungs, or whatever? Who knows? And it's why is living in fear looked at as such a negative thing when this is something to be fearful of? I don't like when people point the finger, especially white wingers, and they say you're living in fear. I'm like, well, you're always living in fear about fucking war and somebody trespassing on your house. This is it. You guys, again, I say you guys because I apologize because it's in Canada as well, but it is very American. You guys have lived in fear for a long time. Like I look at it, you love it. You thrive on it. The news propels it. It's crazy. I remember watching documentaries and seeing different things. And again, sometimes those documentaries are biased as well. So I get it. But ultimately, after 9/11, every kid was like going to be like a terrorist to shoot up the school or whatever like that. After 9/11, sorry, after Columbine, after 9/11, 9/11, it's crazy. I get it. Like there are uncertain times, but this fear propels everything. Everybody's lived in fear, but yet suddenly your mind is like, oh, I'm not afraid of this. It's the weirdest thing on people's minds.
Right, dude.
Oh, Muslims are horrible, but COVID's fine.
Right.
I don't get it.
Dude.
It's crazy how people can justify things and make things, and they just generalize. like, because like anything. Again, I'm not going to get into this rant about
I know,
Christianity
you're
and
right.
everything else
You're
because
right.
we'll go down a spiral and we'll piss people off. This is not what the show is about. But those are true
No,
life horrors.
they
Those
are.
are true
They are
life
true
horrors.
life
So
horrors.
I'll just throw that in there so it makes it sound like we're talking about horror
You're
here
right.
in a sense. However, I will get off the topic, everybody, to get off
Right.
my soapbox. I
Good
don't have
call.
all the answers. I'm not a scientist. I'm just saying that it's crazy when you see human nature. Dave, the one thing I do agree with you is I feel like I want to stay at home too sometimes because I just think other people are fucking crazy.
Indeed, they are. Yeah. I'm happy. Look at it this way. I am happy to live where I live, how I live. That is enough for me to be okay with staying home and entertaining myself. I mean, how spoiled are people that they have to do this and they have to travel and I'm not knocking what they're into. Don't misconstrue that, but how spoiled are you that it's such a sin to fucking stay indoors and be with people as opposed to you could be living in some third world country and really know what it's like to fucking live a way you don't want to live. I don't have to worry about my daughter starving to death. I don't have to worry. There's so many things I don't have to worry about. I'm not in a dictatorship. Well, maybe I am, but not in the way other countries are. I have some freedoms left here in this country where I can do certain. It's not so terrible to stay home. Take a look around the world and look at other countries if you want to believe what the news media and research tells you, and then say, okay, well, in a way, I'm a little bit spoiled because I'm over here crying about I don't want to stay home. I don't want to live in fear. You want to live in fear. You want to see what real fear is. Go look at
Fucking
these
yeah.
other countries. Go look at the people in Ukraine. Go look at this.
Exactly.
And that's fucking living in fear. Living in fear is not, well, I'm going to stay home because there's an infectious disease out there. And okay, I won't even use the word disease. There's a contagion out there that is a little unprecedented and can really bring down some damage. And me personally, the way I went through COVID, I don't want it. If I got it this bad this one time, who's to say what could happen to me if I get it a second time? So I think I'm justified in saying, hey, I'm not going to go to a wedding anymore. I'm not going to go here. And maybe I'll get off my horse and I won't go to fish shows anymore. It would be sad. It would be sad. I really enjoy that's like one of the highlights of my life to go. It's almost like having my soul fucking rejuvenated. I can't explain it. I have a very good feeling before, during, and after the show that seems to last for a while. And when I listen back to shows, it makes me very happy. It's just me. Do I want to give that up in no, I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait when it comes. It's gonna be really hard for me to say no. That's all I'm saying.
We're going to a concert in August. I mean, we bought the tickets way back when we were vaccinated, and we thought, hey, this is cool. Before Omicron was a word in our mouths. And whatever. We just assumed, okay, we're going to start to hopefully get out of this, and we're not. But again, I do want to start living. I'm not saying we're not living.
I know.
I've been doing things for work, and it's not like we're big concert goers, but this is a concert we all want to do. Like, well, not all three of us are going. My wife and my daughter and I are going
Who
to
is
see
it?
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh yeah, where are they coming?
It's
Toronto?
Toronto, August 21st, I believe.
I wouldn't mind
concert
going. My wife loves the Peppers. I love them. I've seen them before, but I mean.
So have I.
Yeah.
I've seen them twice before, I think, and yeah, it's so. But I mean, my daughter has, and she loves them too, so which is great, and so
Sweet.
we're really looking forward to that concert. But we'll see. I'm gonna do it. Like I said, I'm gonna continue to do what I'm gonna do. But yeah, maybe there's I'm a hypocrite for talking the way I talk and saying that I will be going to a concert. But this is 4 months away, 3 months away, whatever it may be.
Is it outdoor?
Is it
an outdoor concert?
I fucking can't. I don't know. I can't remember when the concert is. Actually, wait, hold on 1 second. I got the tickets right here.
I bet you it is. Unless
is.
It's at Air Canada Center, then it probably is.
I think it might be.
Okay, well, if it's there, then you know it's indoor.
It is Rogers Center, which can be. They could have the dome open, but I don't know if they will. Yeah.
Well, being the weather being what it is, probably June, July. Well, hard to say. It is fucking, especially this year. We got snow last week still. This fucking won't end. Oh my, it's driving me nuts, the weather out here. Seriously, my wife asked me 2 weeks ago, are you going to uncover the stuff back there? Because I have my lawn stuff covered up, my grill, some lawn stuff. But it's on my deck and it's got this. ugly. Yeah, my barbecue. Yeah. There's a chicken right in there cooking as we speak, and fucking, there's a tarp over it, a big gray ugly tarp, but it protects everything, and I have things weighing it down. Now, there is a tire on one side of it because my fucking wife will not let me. We have a couple big rocks in the backyard that are for decorative purposes. Now, it's fucking winter. I want to pick this rock up and put it to weigh down the tarp. She will not let me touch the rock. All right, motherfucker. So you know what? I'm looking around the garage for something else. I find a spare tire. So I take the spare tire and I put it in a spot where I would have put a rock. So because it's an ugly tire and the neighbors and this and that, and it looks like I'm fucking white trash or something, she's been on me about fucking, when are you going to take that stuff down? When are you going to get rid of that tire? So now I keep telling her, it's going to snow again. I'm not going to get rid of our shit and it's going to snow. Sure enough, a week ago it fucking snowed until May is here. Okay. Until we're in mid-May, I am not comfortable anymore opening up my fucking backyard.
I dare you. Gotta keep that tire in the backyard to make it a planter. Just make it a fucking planter.
I'm gonna make it a swing. I'm gonna an old tire. I wish I had a tree in the middle of the yard. I don't. But maybe I'll start playing with it in the summer. You know, just rolling around the backyard with it.
Just with one of those sticks. You're wee. We're keeping this, Irene. It's here to stay. Get used to it.
Oh God, the tire. The tire fucking debacle with me and her. Oh, just let me use the rock. It's gonna take 3 seconds. Pick up a rock. Who's in my backyard in the wintertime? Nobody. No fucking buddy is back there. I can't pick up a rock, rock, and set it down. That's an issue with her. Oh, you can't pick up that rock. Meanwhile, she's got peat moss in the front yard. Fucking 2 big bags for a fucking year on the sidewalk that she says she's gonna use. Finally, like the other day. Now I gotta toss them. Now I gotta throw them out. I go throw. Now you're telling me. I've been telling you since the day you bought them. You're not gonna use them. Now she says I gotta throw it out. Something about mosquitoes. And now the first thing I'm thinking, okay, oh wise one, where do you want me to put these fucking? I'm not gonna put them in my garbage can. If there's mosquitoes and shit on them, what am I gonna do? Pollute my fucking garbage can now? I could have used those peat moss things all this time. Not peat moss, is it? It's fucking mulch. Is that the same thing as peat moss? I don't know. Either way, I could. These bags are fucking 20 pounds. I could have used these all this time.
Still use it. She thinks it's going to be mosquito infested.
So that's what she said. And buddy, I don't know enough about mulch to fucking argue with her. And I just, whatever the fuck makes her happy. Believe me, her and Frankie Wolf with their fucking smart mouth at her age. Whatever they say, it's fucking. I'm becoming more of a mute. This is why I talk so much on this show, because I barely talk at home anymore. Because the fucking shit they do, if I open my mouth, it's just gonna make matters worse. Because why argue? Just you guys live your life the way you want to live it. Fuck it.
My God.
Well, see, B is over here fucking upset. You know, sometimes as he tells us that fucking, you know, he has to live the life of a single man and this and that. And I always tell him, you don't even fucking know the fucking stress I have to go through with these two and the fucking animals. Now my wife's going away. She's gonna guess who's gonna take care of the animals? Us. Oh, this whole fucking field. The dog needs a fucking pill twice a day. This has to happen. You got to do this. The cat's this. You got to feed him. Oh, it never ends. Anyway.
No, and it never will. But let's change the subject and talk about something that will put us in a good mood. Let's do one movie review, The Prey. Let's start. We said we were going to divvy up the talk a bit.
You're right.
I want to get into it. Can we get into this one?
Yeah, we'll do The Prey. We'll talk about those slashers. We'll do the other movie. We'll be out.
Yeah.
Right? That sounds good, right?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let me bring up.
These aren't going to be long reviews by any means. By any stretch, as everybody likes to say.
It's definitely not a commentary.
Holy fuck.
Okay.
Fucking Prey. Go ahead. Do your thing.
The Prey. 1983, I guess. 3 couples go on a camping trip in the woods of Southern California during the summer, where the 4-man is stalking their camp. And it has the tagline that we've brought up a bunch of times on the show before. It's not human, and it's got an axe.
Oh, God.
Yet it is human. and it's got an extra like what 20 seconds of the running time of the movie.
The intro.
The movie is an hour and 20 minutes. Admittedly, I know Arrow put out a Blu-ray of this that I believe Dave watched and has.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Kuno's de-animalized cut that's available on YouTube, which cuts out all of the bullshit wildlife insert shots that drag this movie down. And the movie's an hour and 20 with those shots. It's an hour and 2 minutes without them. And it's the preferred cut, no questions asked. It actually raises my enjoyment of the movie because I don't want to choke everybody to death when those little shots come on and there's a caterpillar that goes on, because they add up to 18 minutes. 18 minutes.
Okay. Oh, what the hell? Here's the fucked up part. On the Arrow Blu-ray, there's a second disc, and there's an hour and 32-minute version, and then an hour and 47-minute or 42-minute version that's called the fan cut. So people have actually added to this movie. Added. How is that even possible? I don't know, but I wasn't going to be the guy to find out. I'll tell you right now.
I did a fan cut, and it was like Kuno's, but I didn't have the Arrow. He worked off the Arrow, so it's a beautiful transfer. I will say that. I will say, hey, they captured. I love the look of the forest. I love the look of the film. The actors are not shocked. The shockingly are actually passable. There's just bad soundtrack choices, editing choices, and which we'll get a little bit more into. But it's actually passable at that hour and 2 minute cut. I gotta ask. I wish Brian was on the show. Jamie and Brian were on the show, because he's almost like an apologist for the Prey. This guy has like how many books underneath him? He's written books. He's edited. He's articulate on his show. He's a great guy. Yet he likes this movie,
and he hates some of the ones that I watched that I said I had fun with. Right? He has very low patience for shitty movies. Believe me, I know him. I listen to his shows. Yeah, that's fucking mind-boggling to me. I almost wish we could have done that commentary. By the way, people wanted us to do the commentary. Well, no, they voted this in, and I know why they voted in, because I can't believe that 18 people or 19 people that voted want to hear about the fucking Prey. They just want to hear me bitch because I've been bitching about it for fucking long as I've been.
They want that anger.
I guess so. Anger. I'm gonna preface this by saying this here. I'm gonna show you guys. You know that my brother and my buddy Scott come here every Friday night to watch movies. Well, because of Mike and the COVID, he can't be here this Friday. So now I know I'm saving this. Usually I watch him Saturday. I said, okay, I'm going to watch it Friday because I've never watched this movie without Scott. I've watched this movie 3 times, and it's because of Scott. And I gave him shit the other night about it, because now I've never watched it without him. So not only am I not watching it with Scott and Mike, which maybe have made it a little more fun, I have to watch it alone. So now here I am. I send them a text Thursday at 8:30. I was preparing. I was thinking about it already Thursday, preparing for Friday. This is our group text. I said, here's what really sucks. I have to watch The Prey for the podcast. I wanted to do it tomorrow with you guys. Then Scott says, yes, The Prey, LOL, an hour of nature, he says. And then I says, can you believe it won a poll against like 5 other movies from 1983? And Scott says, really? That's nuts. Then I said, tell me about it. They know my feelings about it. I'm guessing they want. I'm guessing they'll think it's funny to hear me take a shit all over it. And then I sent them a picture of the VHS cover, because I have it here, and because that's what started the whole fucking thing. So then he says, awesome. Mike laughed about it. Then Friday night at 7:37, I put up this picture. The Prey, as the movie just started. I put up my fucking TV. There you go. And then I wrote "Pray for me" with a praying symbol, but I spelled it Pray. Pray for me.
Pray for Mojo.
Then Mike says, "Birds of Prey." I don't know if you know that song or not, but it's it's a Jim Morrison thing. And it also became a Fatboy Slim track that he used Morrison's voice. Bird of Prey. Great stuff, by the way. So then Scott says, LOL. Then I tell him, terrible. Half an hour and nothing has happened. That's what I told him at 8:20. And they laughed about it. And Scott says, yep, all nature shots from what I remember. And
you gotta watch the cut version. I'm telling you, it make the movie great? Absolutely not. But it makes it very tolerable. and you get to appreciate like that transfer from Arrow. I give it credit. Like it looks good. It does look
They
good.
polished a turd. And again, I'll say this again about
That's
fucking
funny. That was a joke. I said because I was talking to, I don't know if this was Gary or Chris, because when they found out the Prey was going, I used the joke. I guess you can polish a turd, and I said I'm gonna reiterate that joke on the show, and you already did it. That's hilarious.
You brought it up. They polished a turd. They really did here. It's the spooky syndrome. So they done that. But this movie, and I've said it before, this is what's great about movies from the 80s. Okay, that even a low budget movie shot on film looks a fucking million times better than a shot on video movie from the 80s or a low budget shot on video movie even now or any of that shit. Something about the look of anything shot on film just looks better. By default, it looks like a more competent film. It doesn't immediately turn you off. Even I'm watching all the 90 movies for fucking 1994 for 22 shots. Everything looks like it's made for TV. Not everything. It just has, there's something about the gloss and the look of whatever kind of film or whatever they were using in the 90s that just does not fucking sit well with me or look right. But when you're talking about 70s, 80s and shit like that, low budget movies, all you needed is fucking 35 millimeter. Boom. It looks like a real film. It doesn't.
They lit the forest well. At nighttime, there's some great shots of the forest. Like I was, and it's lit well. I don't remember that being the same when the VHS came out. I remember it looked pretty muddy and garbagey, which also added to probably why my rating. So I'm like the 5th review ever on IMDb. I think I've read this review on the show before, but here we go again. One out of 10 back in March 29th, 2001. Avoid. The best thing about The Prey is the tagline, it's not human and it's got an axe. The movie itself is a padded stinkeroo. Endless insect and wildlife shots make the viewer want to die. No slasher fan will like this garbage. Sorry, Brian. Watch Friday the 13th again and burn any copy of this film you find. I can't even read my own review properly. That's it. I also said at the time it rated as like one of the worst movies, like 25 worst movies I've ever seen.
God, yes.
Up to that date, up to that time frame. I probably have to revamp that now because I've seen some shit since then. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not coming in high on this movie by any means. It still fails, and maybe it's because I've watched the animalized cut. But that hour and 2 cut is the preferred cut. Like I've said already, I'm already retreading what I've said, but it's because it just keeps the pace flowing. So you do get the blood shooting out of the decapitated head. You do get the ripped throat. There is some gore in this movie.
Are fine.
The monster itself looks like a bad Toxic Avenger. And it kind of just needed a bigger finish. I don't know what, like, all the ending is kind of funny to me as well. I guess he took the woman back to like a cave and kept her there and obviously had his way with her. And then she gave birth 9 months later. And that's where we are. And there's a baby that's born. But there was never a Prey 2, thankfully. The actors are not bad, but there's just some really bad editing choices. And I'm not talking about Kuno's edit. I'm talking about the original version because I do remember that as well. The heartbeat, the lack of soundtrack during a lot of the movie, and the heartbeat noises. If it had a soundtrack, Dave, and they cut those wildlife shots out, I think you would have liked this movie a bit more. I really do. But the lack of sound really hurts the movie at the beginning. The bad editing really hurts the movie. But the Arrow transfers, and it looks the best it ever looked. But like you said, they polished the turd.
Okay. And I'm going to say, let me read some more of these things, but I'm going to say this. There's a couple more things in this text which are funny. But I'm going to, what I said earlier about sitting down to watch a movie, and like a great movie though, like and saying, okay, I'm going to really sit down and give it a shot and see what's going on. When I sat down to watch this movie, my attitude was this, you know what? I've only seen it twice. I saw it back in the fucking 80s when it came out. Okay. I saw it again on a VHS rip maybe, I was right after me and Scott watched it, maybe fucking 8 years ago. And this is what I took from it the second time. Still a bunch of nature shots and dumb muffled conversation on a campfire that I couldn't hear what anybody was saying. Okay, and we'll get to that. So and that's all I remember. But this is what I said going in. And of course it was with Scott, so we were looking We called it the worst horror movie we ever saw. It was known that for fucking 20 plus years. Okay, so now coming into this, well, the last time I watched it with Scott, that was the attitude we had. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe I was harder on it than I should have been. And maybe if you take away the slasher, the nature stuff, maybe I can watch this movie and maybe it'll fall into like a 6 out of 10 range and it's not going to be that bad. This was my attitude going in. Okay. So I want everyone to know that I really did try. So now, again, as I'm watching the movie, this is now a fucking hour into it. I said, this is all nature shots. And I said, yes, so many. And this is what I said. And fake conversations with the teens hanging out and a heartbeat where we see killer's POV. Scott says, not much happens. One of the worst ever, LOL. Okay. So then I said, so far it holds true. And this is what I got. This is what I told him. I said, you just had to see it. And then I said, 35 years later, and I'm still paying the price. I told him. It's true. Because if he never picked up this movie, I probably told the story before. We went there all the fucking time. Video Factory, we're in video, going through the same horror section and everything else. Sometimes we're stuck. Movies are sold out. We're trying to figure out what we're going to watch that day. He kept looking at this box, The Prey. And like I showed it, it's fucking a horrible cover with like a nightgown and a fucking axe going through the thing. And it says it's not human and it's got an axe, The Prey. And he kept picking it up. I said, I'm telling you, man, look at that cover. This is going to be fucking terrible. Then you turn the box around, right? And there's no box art in the back. Again, it's some shit. They can't even show a picture from the fucking movie. I said, Scott, this movie's going to be fucking horrible. Don't rent it. So this must have gone on 3 or 4 times. One day, I broke down. I said, okay, let's fucking rent The Prey. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's going to be a good fucking movie. Who knows? So we rented the movie. And, of course, with the nature shots and everything else about the fucking movie, I was so fucking pissed. I'm telling you, it got the reputation as being the worst fucking horror movie ever the first time we watched it. And
funny.
I told him you're not allowed to. I grounded him from fucking choosing movies at the fucking Video Factory. I said, no. I said, for the rest of the fucking summer or this, I said, you're not allowed to choose movies anymore. I'm not. No, I'm picking them all. Or someone else's. Scott is fucking disqualified for a while. I was so fucking mad about it.
This is like Nightmare Weekend was another one that I remember being absolutely shit, like garbage, spookies. Like, this is in that realm. And all those movies have gotten re-releases. It's shocking to me. I will have it for that factor of like, this is so bad, I almost need to have it as part of the collection to say, this is a bad. But here it is. Like, it had the elements. You had the teenagers, but you're right. They would just 3 times it happens where they're walking through the forest and it's like muted, muffled dialogue. Why not have dialogue sequences? Why not actually have them talking and get to know them a little bit more?
Because nobody wrote a fucking. There's no fucking script. The only script that had to be for this movie were the 2 conversations between the fucking Rangers. Other than that, and even those conversations, half the time they're talking about a sandwich. It's fucking horrible. The guy tells a story when I could write 5 minutes about what happened in the past and there was a fire. Okay, but I'm telling you, I have notes on this fucking movie. And I'm telling you, first of all, you put the Blu-ray in. The first thing on the Blu-ray menu is a fucking moth being taken in a fucking spider's web. That is the first visual you see. You know when they got the menu screen? That's the first fucking thing on the screen. Okay?
Well, it sums it up.
The movie begins, you see fire, probably stock fire shots, and you hear random, real low screaming noises. You don't know why. They're not very loud. Yeah. What the fuck is going on here? I don't know. Now here's the funny part. You get a fake Pamela fucking Voorhees and her husband. Did you notice that this woman was wearing the fucking Pamela's fucking? She had a haircut like Pamela and had her sweater. Look,
dude, you want to know something though?
Right?
I got to tell you this. If you look at the final credits, it says copyright 1980 in the credits. So this was made in 80 and shelved and released in 83.
So they saw Friday the 13th. That's all. Same as ever.
And then
copyrights.
Yeah. So
now, of course, that's when slashers were big. 80, 81. That's when they shot him. So, I mean, I didn't know that, but it's not a bit surprising. But it's like, this woman was fucking dressed like Pamela. I couldn't believe it. I go, look at this. So I got some joy out of it. I go, that's funny, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now you see a guy. First of all, who the fuck chops wood with a pipe in their mouth? A guy is out there fucking chopping wood with a pipe.
Oh.
Now right? Now
honestly, that I have no problem with. I mean, it's
for fun.
Yeah, I know. He does have a pipe in his mouth.
But there is a reason
why.
Does
he even say a word in the movie? He just sort of looks over at his wife every now and then going, eh? She's like, he's like, this is a good meal. And she's like, I'm going to take this to the lake. He's like, he just smiles and he lights his pipe. And then you hear a scream later. I don't think he says a word in the movie.
He may say a few words. I thought it was funny that he chops wood with a pipe in his mouth, but I know why. Because that pipe comes up later. And because we have to know that he died, because you see blood on the pipe, and the kids find the pipe later, and then decide to fucking smoke weed out of a fucking dirty pipe that they fucking find on the ground. And somehow there's no blood there. Like this guy fucking cleaned it up. Anyway. Yeah. So this is what we see now. Now, this is where my notes come in. I took notes for every fucking sequence. You're going to find out. You keep count. All right? See, that's your job. How many fucking animals we see in this movie. Okay? Yeah. So it's okay. It won't be that. Now we go to a fucking shot. Okay? And this is without a cut. This is going from one to the other to the other. This is what we see after the scene. A bee, a spider, a caterpillar, a toad, a raccoon, a vulture. We see the moth in the web again. Okay? We see a bear, a woodpecker, and a snake. Now there is a break between between the first ones and the bear, the woodpecker, and the snake. So that's that. That's what we see for no fucking apparent reason. Which I want to ask you this: does this have to just be stock footage? You don't think all these things were in this wood, right?
No. So I believe I read back when I was doing the cut that maybe the movie was filmed and they realized that the cut was only coming in at like an hour and 5 or whatever. So there is a dedicated person that went and shot all the nature shots. I think he's credited in the credits of nature photography. I don't think it was just stock footage. I think someone went out to film the stock footage for them at the time. And then they inserted it in the film to essentially pad the running time.
Yeah, because I don't think all those things could be in the same woods together. I don't think that they all exist not in the United States anyway. I don't know. A tarantula, because remember, there's so many different fucking things. You don't usually see that going out in the fucking woods. You just don't. All right.
No, not in the Congo, maybe.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Right. Not here. So at this point, it's all in fun. All right. I'm not angry yet. I'm like, I expected this. The thing with the pipe, I would have made that remark if it happened in a Friday the 13th. Who chops wood with the pipe? I'm not piling on. But then this is when things really start to fucking happen. This is when I get angry. The kids are walking through the woods. We see the kids. They come up. They get out. They're walking through the woods. And now I remember last time watching it, like I said, they had these muffled conversations. So I was kind of excited. Okay, not excited. I was kind of looking forward to the opportunity of having subtitles. And, now I'm going to see what these people are saying as they talk. Maybe this will help a little. It was shot on fucking – it was a videotape, and the sound isn't always the greatest. Yeah. Maybe this will help a little bit. Literally, they are saying nothing. I'll imitate it. They're walking up and down the fucking – and they do this 3 different times, and they cut it. They cut away and show an animal and come back. They're walking in the woods, and they're having mumbled conversations as they walk. And it just says the subtitles I was waiting for just say in captions, chatter. I'm like, motherfucker. But they're walking up. It would be like me and you, see, when we make our movie. We're sitting there walking. That's
exactly it.
I know it does. They can't even write a fucking script for kids. Literally, one thing is said. Every line of dialogue that is said in this movie is used in the fucking trailer, because that's the only thing that says. The only thing one guy says at one point when he gets up close to the camera, he says, "Man, am I ready for tonight?" That is it. Man, am I ready for tonight? Yeah, okay, the kids are excited to go party. But in the meantime, you have fucking 5 minutes of walking. I've never seen a movie. I've never seen a movie.
Reenacted it.
Okay, so now Here's something cool. The guy has these yellow and blue kicks on. Maybe they're Asics. I like the way these yellow and blue with the yellow laces and shit. They're kind of cool. POV heartbeat. Then we get to the famous campfire bullshit scene. And it's the fucking same fucking thing. There's 6 kids sitting around having discussions, and they're all.
It sounds like they're in a diner. Yeah, I know. yeah. And then this cutaways of them smiling. Write a scene. I get it. I agree with you.
Dude.
Why? They have like 2 lines of dialogue. Write a fucking scene of dialogue. Because that scene's lit well. That scene rivals like the Madman fire, the whatever. It's lit well. The nighttime stuff, I was surprised at how well this looked. The transfer is great. Again, if you had to judge from the VHS, you'd think it's a muddy mess. But the transfer is great, but that does not make, again,
no,
we keep saying the same thing. A piece of shit with a nice little shine to it now.
Right. They polish it so much it doesn't even stink anymore. That's how fucking much they polish the fucking thing. Now, this is what I'm saying. Literally, not literally. There was so little effort put into this fucking film by padding of nature shots and not even being able to have a fucking conversation on fucking camera. And then you mentioned Madman. Okay, let's talk about campfire scenes in horror movies. You got Madman. You got Friday 2.
The Burning.
Right? Okay, you got The Burning. You got these movies. What you see here is a guy.
Sleepaway Camp 2.
Literally, there you go. Sleepaway Camp 2. Literally telling the fucking monkey's paw story, which led to a joke at the end. Okay, they put in a punchline for the end of the fucking monkey's paw, but people know the fucking monkeys. We were just talking about it a couple shows ago on this fucking. Yeah. They can't even come up with a fucking ghost story and that is the only time we get dialogue there. There's some girl telling a story about, I was locked in this thing, and so, obviously it was something that really happened to her in real life, and they just told these kids to talk about anything. Cause why write a fucking script? Why do that? Let's just they're just trying to cash in. So now, then you see, a centipede. A spliced in raccoon for literally fucking half a second, just for no reason. Boom, almost like a subliminal message of a fucking raccoon in your movie. Why, I don't know. Then you see a tarantula. That's another animal, okay? Then somebody throws an owl, because you just see woods there, and you see an owl land like somebody fucking threw it, like somebody threw a cat in the one movie.
Yes.
Then you see an ant. Then you see other ants, like army ants. Then they go back to a fake conversation. How many animals have we seen now? I don't know if you're keeping count. This is what it is. Now they're sitting there. We get the monkey's paw story. Okay. Then next thing, they're passing around the dead man's fucking pipe. Okay. With no blood anywhere, just a pipe sitting there. And they packed a fucking bowl of weed, I guess. And they're passing it around. Then the guy, that story about the monkey's paw, which was nothing with a punchline, the guy said, this is just funny. He says, that story, this and that. Somebody complained about the story. And this other buddy goes, man, I give that 9 with a bullet, and gives him like a high five. What the fuck is 9 with a bullet?
I've heard that saying before. I don't know what it means.
I've heard number 1 with a bullet. Yeah. I've heard something rising on a chart, Number 2 with
Maybe
a bullet.
He's got 9 inches. I'm going to give her 9 with a bullet.
I don't even know. Then later on, after this scene, somebody scares his girlfriend, right? She goes out to take a piss. She comes back. The guy scares his girlfriend. She can't even faint. She fucking basically, she's supposed to be fainting. Why would you pass out from your boyfriend just jumping out of the woods going boo is beyond me. But the girl just goes like this, just kind of like sits down and falls like slowly. That is the worst fucking fainting fucking. And I would have tripped the girl and not told her about it. It would have looked fucking better. So far, nothing has happened in this movie. We get a kill in the first minute with the axe of the guy's head, and it looks fine. I mean, it looks adequate. You can tell it's pretty fake looking with the way it's positioned. But I'll give credit where it's due. There's a scene later that looks better. But this one doesn't look good except for the blood. The wife sees it. And that's it. It's a cutaway. So literally all we've seen after about 30, 35 minutes of this movie is nature shots, a heartbeat while they show POV, and people having muffled conversation. Nothing. Yes. It's not even a fucking movie. So now, oh God, I don't even know. Later on, they're in the sleeping bag. Something's going on. The killer comes down, and he puts his arms on her on the sleeping bag so gently it looks like somebody putting their kid to sleep.
Yeah. I know. And she doesn't scream. She doesn't scream. I'm like, there's just again, it's bad sound. They could have had her scream or go and he stops it, and that gets the guy's attention because he walked him out to take a piss like usual, and whatever. But I get it. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's so.
I know I'm right. I'm citing things.
I know.
Next thing you see, and I'll give credit where it's due. After that scene, you see her boyfriend killed, and it's a decent neck slice. It's foam latex. It's fine. It's a quick thing. Yeah. Okay, they put a little effort on the makeup there. I'll give credit where it's due. Okay, that was fine. And then it cuts away. Then we get the fucking ranger that we saw earlier meet the girls for fucking 3 seconds, telling a joke to a fucking deer for no reason. Or let's put a joke in a movie while he feeds a deer. More time padded bullshit, which you'd never see in any other movie. I mean,
no,
right? Who does this?
You're right.
Would we do this in our fucking movie?
No, because I'm always afraid that to bore the audience. So.
Oh shit! Well, it's a fucking dumb decision. Then, of all things,
although we do have a stuffed skunk, so who knows?
We gotta have a skunk. There's reasons for a skunk.
Yeah.
You know. Then we get fucking cops. Oh no! As soon as you bring cops into a fucking slasher, suddenly it's not a slasher anymore. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but I mean, when you get phone calls and there's people missing in the beginning and this and that, then we gotta get a fucking murder investigation.
I didn't mind that though. I will say I didn't mind that because it actually cut away from this horrible padded shit, and then you got a cop going, hey, and I thought they the one part that seemed like they actually wrote a bit of the script was that and the scene of the guy telling the story, because the backstory is told horribly in this movie, or showed horribly in this movie, until he sort of has the conversation. But like you said, then it's talking about a sandwich for half the fucking thing as well. Their attempts at humor are not great, to be honest. But I didn't mind that. I will say I didn't mind that aspect in retrospect. But if you are there after watching all the padded bullshit, I could see you not just get, what the fuck is it? Just get it to the killings and let's get moving. But again, that Kuno cut keeps things moving, so it's okay. Nice. I don't have a problem with that as much so, because it gives a reason for the ranger to go back out. It's the catalyst to have them talk and go, hey, you know what? We'll look at that. And I thought that was a nice element, personally. But
no, and that's fine. But I don't want. This is not me piling on a turd. Okay, this is me being par for the course, Dave Z, because I've been complaining about the cop shop curse for years. I don't like when fucking cops, any cop situation, back since the banana laser days, I don't like when the cop investigation thing is thrown into slashers that way. When a cop shows up in Friday 2 or in Halloween 2, that wasn't even a cop. That's done differently. It's not an investigation, and it's completely unnecessary, and it doesn't result in a kill. If it did that, one thing. But as soon as you see a cop station, I'm like, But that's just me personally. So, I mean, I'm not saying it to pile onto the movie that I'm already piling on. I'm just saying, for me personally, if you're going to show something different, oh, geez, anything but a fucking cop station now, please. But anyway, it was so short, it doesn't matter. Then after that shot with the cop and that discussion, we get a grasshopper, an amphibian, some exotic bird right in a row. Boom, boom, boom. How many is that? I don't know. Okay.
I have stopped counting. Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay. It's a lot. I might just count it again real quick reading it. So then they're playing this game, like playing hide and seek. No, they're not playing hide and seek. They're looking for the 2 missing kids that got killed the night before. It's the next morning.
Ollie in free something or other. Like, what the fuck does he say?
No. Holy, home free all. Have you ever? I've heard Ollie oxen free, Ollie all come free. I've never heard somebody say holy home free all. That is the dialogue. Did somebody make him say that, or was that this kid's just upbringing? Like, some people understand what the guy's saying when they say Wolfman's got nards, and I've never heard the fucking term nards in my life, but maybe apparently in some sections of the country they say nards instead of nads. I don't fucking know. It just could be one of those things. So now this almost not hurt me. This almost pissed me off on a personal level. They make a decision finally to put some music in it, and it's the fucking The Shining. They rip off the fucking Shining. How anything from The Shining. This is so far from The Shining. The Shining is like the best movie ever, and this is like the worst movie ever. And they start playing that song, the music from The Shining that goes, and then
I didn't kick that.
100% The Shining. Ripped right the fuck off the slate. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I said, I've never heard someone even try to do this music like they did in Kubrick's Shining, but they do it here, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is what you're going to use for fucking music in this movie? In the fucking Prey. And how about this? Are they showing animals because the movie's called The Prey, and animals are predatory by nature? Do you want to give them that much fucking credit? I don't know, but it did occur to me as I'm watching it. The Prey.
Well, I mean, The Prey isn't even a stupid name for this movie because they don't really because they don't set up the killer. Well, they do set up someone's in the woods killing at the beginning, but not well enough to establish that this group is the Prey. It really is not done well. If anything, this movie could be a remake. Think about it. Think about it from a Friday the 13th standpoint. If they ripped off Friday the 13th, they already had Jason living in the woods before Jason was living in the woods, because this was made in 1980, just released after 81. So they took the premise of this kid was burned in the fire, or the family in the village was destroyed. This kid lived off the land and attacked people for no reason. We don't know why, but he's just a burn victim that's lived off the woods and survived, and it's attacking people in the woods and lived off the land. So really, it's funny enough. Now, don't get me wrong. Friday the 13th wouldn't have seen this because this got shelved and released later. Right. But it really is that premise.
Or the burning.
Horribly, horribly done. Or the what?
Right. The burning.
Yeah. Or
guy got burned. Fucking kills people.
But he didn't leave the woods. He stayed in the woods. Yeah. Right. You're right. Funny enough, absolutely. It's just the problem with it is it's so shoddily told because there's no script. And the two areas that they decided to maybe write a script seemed wedged in and way too late in the game.
Right. Dude, yeah. One conversation, the Rangers, that's what I wrote, okay? Then I have like two notes left. Freaks out about birds and dead girl. I don't know why he freaks out so bad about it. The guy goes on, he sees the dead girl and he sees the vultures picking at the dead girl, and the guy acts as if he found his own daughter and she was fucking butt raped in front of him or something.
It was edited like it was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but there was no connection. Like, it's like, yes. And you're like, and you're right. Like, okay, it's a dead girl, and it's horrific to see, but you're right. It's just as if I do like that they inserted the shot that he remembers her alive. Good touch. But again, very little elevation to a shoddy fucking movie. And you're right, it was just overkill based on who it was. They needed more interaction between them for that to be such a revelation or such a shocking moment in film, to be honest.
I know.
I will commend them for trying to do something there, but it's just so shoddy. It's almost like the editor's like, I got to do something with this piece of shit.
Right. But he freaks out. He's legitimately afraid. He's looking around like the birds are going to come down on him or something. He was like, just like fucking.
The only thing left for him to do was like take the gun and like put it under his chin and go. That would have been great. He shot himself.
In my movie.
Might as well have been because nobody lives. Wow. I'll give the movie credit for that too. No one lives other than the girl, I guess.
Yeah, and how do they kill off the fucking
Mrs. Prey?
Mrs. Prey, Mrs. P. Hey, Miss P. So in the climax of the film, hold on, there's two more notes here. The aftermath of the head twist was done well. Now they show the two guys. Yeah. The one guy gets his head twisted because they're spelunking or something. Let's just send these two guys off on the fucking rocks. They're just gonna leave their two girls over here. This way we can get everybody killed. The girls can be pursued while the guys get pursued.
We're gonna go rappelling. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go rappelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're okay. They must have gone home. We're never gonna know. They have no cell phones or whatever. So that from that standpoint, I could kind of buy it, but I don't think they're just going on like as if nothing happened with their two friends.
Right, they're just going on. They said we're going to take a vote. I remember there was some more dialogue. Okay, let's take a vote. Do we press on or do we go look for our friends? Well, we'll press on. We'll leave a note. Okay, so they go out. These two guys fucking do their thing on the rocks. The guy's holding him up. The killer comes behind him, grabs him, twists his neck. At first, it's like something you've seen before. It's okay. The other guy goes plummeting down the fucking thing. Whatever. So 2 birds, 1 stone, real quick. Let's have the other girls involved in the final chase, which is going to come out of nowhere. The killer has ridiculously giant hands that are like fucking the size of his head for some reason. Obviously, they're fucking bought from a Halloween store if they were around back then. But okay, so this is what happens. Now, I'm going to give credit where it's due. When the makeup is used in the shot with the fucking ripped thing and in the another part, it's not bad. It is not bad makeup, and the reason is it's fucking JCB, John Carl Buechler.
Well, I was going to give you a trivia of what is the connection between our 2 movies tonight.
Well, there you go. Friday again, another Friday 7. So Buechler. Oh, wait a minute. Buechler was involved in Mausoleum as well?
Yeah, he created, I believe, I don't know if he did all the effects, but he created the monster in Mausoleum. So there was a connection to the movies tonight. Isn't that hilarious?
Wow. We always find some crazy way. Wow,
yeah.
Dude. Now, I will say this. The aftermath of the head twist is done well. Later on, when they see the kid with his head twisted, his body's down, and his head facing the other way, it looks good. It does. It's like a Savini trick. They probably had no, I can't give them that much credit. They didn't have a guy dig a hole in the ground. Honestly, I don't know how they did it, but it looked, I was like, okay, that doesn't look poorly done. So that head twist and the rip of the throat earlier are done well. That is what I'm going to give it. That's how the movie basically ends, with a chase scene with the 2 girls, and the girl getting picked up by the tree and hit in the face, and the girl crying and and the other.
That would have been better if they put a better sound effect in. There's no sound effect. They needed like a, because it was actually poorly edited, but done well enough for a low budget movie, but it needed a sound effect. The dumb part of that, and I'm aping, or I'm going to add to your notes here, is that you see him set that up in a poorly edited. Edited, like they're talking or walking, and then you just see him like pull a rope, cuts away, sets the trap, and you're like, what? And we never cut back to it until that moment in the film. It is so badly done.
Terrible. Nobody notices that. I thought they were showing. I thought the insinuation is that they saw this tree doing this thing and gave it a look and then didn't say anything about it. If you're somewhere and you see a tree fucking bend over, boing, and then go back up straight, I'm sure you're going to fucking at least say something before you get the fuck out. But that's what happens. Then you see a butterfly shot at the end. You see a butterfly shot. That's the last animal you see. And that's it. And you can say what you want. There's a review I read on Letterboxd which really sums it up. My fucking feelings of this movie. Hold on, The Prey. Because I wanted to see if anybody rated it high. Just for shits and giggles.
Other than Gary Miller?
Right. I'm sorry, guys, but we gotta stay true. I want to know what the fuck you like about it. I saw it as a kid too, so it can't be nostalgia. As a kid, we saw it with everything when I saw it, so that was a complete fucking turd.
It's funny that you said it was one of the worst, and I said it was one of the worst. At the time of viewing, when I was younger, it was one of the worst movies I had ever seen.
There you go.
The Weirdo, The Prey, Nightmare Weekend, and I know I'm for like there's Spookies, and there's like another few that made that Hall of Lame.
Okay, here we go. This guy is known as AVF Chunt, 1996. I don't even know who it is real. Yeah. This is what he did. The Prey, 0.5 star. Plot, 1 out of 10. Characters, 2 out of 10. Acting, 2 out of 10. Visual cinematography, 4 out of 10. I will agree with that. Some of the cinematography was fine. Okay. Script dialogue, 0 out of 10. This is the one I disagree on. Ending, 6 out of 10. Maybe in another movie, okay. Enjoyment, 1 out of 10. Overall, his rating was 2.25 out of 10. Notes. Words can't describe how bad this movie is. I would say you need to see it for yourself, but I wouldn't recommend this movie even to my worst enemy. I swear this film would have been 10 minutes long without all the nature footage. I was checking the clock every 5 seconds, praying for this to end. The characters have nothing interesting to say whatsoever. The only thing I appreciated was the insane ending. I can't believe the child from The Kid is in this atrocity. I don't know what The Kid is, but whatever.
I don't either. But it's actually an hour and 2 minutes without the shots because I did a cut, and so did Kuno. And Kuno did. I said he texted me and said he can't believe we're going to be reviewing this movie. So he said this too, and it's funny. I didn't notice it until I watched it this time too. But it's in the flashback shots of the fire. It might actually be in the opening credits too. He said, but he didn't. In his cut, he takes it out, and I do recommend his cut. I rate his cut higher than the regular cut. I'll put it that way. So I don't know if you'll. Okay, because wait, I'll stop that because we are reviewing it. At the beginning of the film, before the opening credits, there's a short sequence with some stock footage of a burning forest and some screams are heard. Only 30 seconds or so. As I said, it's just stock footage and not very good and badly shot. It's, of course, a reference to the fire that mutilated the killer, as we're told later in the film. But it seems somewhat out of place, and that's why I chose not to use it in my cut, Kuno's cut, of the movie. But as I was sitting and re-editing the movie, I discovered something funny hidden in the few seconds of the stock footage. In one of the clips, a man can be seen between the flames, and only 5 frames total is he visible. It may be hard to see for normal people, but for editors, the eye catches everything. The man is at the bottom of the screen, and it seems to be sitting down. He has his head tilted to one side. He's wearing a dark shirt. That's about what you can see in the 5 frames. Whether the people behind the movie chose this so it would appear that the killer is burning in the woods or it's just pure coincidence, I do not know. Like I said, I've never heard anybody mention it, and it's not mentioned on the commentary track on the Blu-ray. It obviously seems a little weird with a man burning on real stock footage, so the question is whether it was taken from another movie, which one I unfortunately do not know. I made a screen grab, and it shows a screen grab. I noticed it, and it's just like really weird.
Wow.
And the guy's like, it must be for the movie, but it's weird that they don't focus on it. And that's the problem. There are hints of a little bit of talent here, mostly from the cinematography, not of the stock footage stuff, but of the cinematography of the night shots in the forest, some of the actors. I actually was not horrible. I was not against these actors. But again, this movie is barely a movie, as you said. It's been padded to be feature length. I will give it a better review than 1 out of 10. I will say it's 2 out of 10. But the Kuno cut, I will actually give 4 out of 10. I'll say because it just condenses it into something that you almost don't get bored with it to the same extent because it cuts out all that fucking bullshit.
Right.
Doesn't make
That's
it a great
fine.
movie. Doesn't make it a great movie. It makes it better, though.
The Kuno cut, I still haven't seen because I wanted to see this on Blue and I wanted to fucking rip into it the right way. Or, no, okay, not even say rip into it. I wanted to get the actual thing to give it a fair chance and everything else. And let's watch it and see. So I wanted to see the Blue, honestly, because I had the Arrow Blue.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it once. It was a gift. So I'm like, okay, let's watch this. So now, okay, I can't go on the Kuno cut. And, we can't do that, of course. I have to agree. Of course, it's a 2 out of 10. It's fucking horrible. I said the good things I said about it. There was a couple things, but it's not even a movie. No fucking conversations, animal footage. Just, I've never seen such little effort used in fucking developing a simple slasher. You and I'm not fucking kidding you.
You could remake this. This would be primed for a remake, but it would just seem like a Friday the 13th ripoff even more so now. But
dude, our movie is already better than the Prey, and we haven't fucking shot.
God, I hope so.
And matter of fact,
and from a script
standpoint,
I sure as hell hope so.
We should put this on the box if we get a physical release. Already better than the Prey.
Shit times better than the Prey. I don't know if that's good publicity or not, but anyway, again, I do recommend Kuno did it. I think he deserves more views. I think his editing name for these things are nice, and it's easily searched on YouTube. The Prey de-animalized cut. I found it in 2 seconds. Well, he sent me the link way back when, but when I went, because I watched it when I was traveling, I was like, I'm not going to look for the link this time, and I just typed in that on YouTube, and it was found very quickly. So that is the preferred cut, no questions asked.
I gotta tell you this. Gotta say this. Brandon has got to watch this fucking movie. When he comes back, I don't know. He has got to watch this movie, and I'll tell you why. I gave it a 2. You gave it a 2. I don't think he's going to give it a 5 or above. This has got to be in the Hall of Lame.
Well, if he gives it a 6, if it's it has to be a 9 or lower.
9 or less. 9 or less. Yeah, because the average, there was 3 of us, average of 3 or lower.
Yeah. And we have to go with the 2 because that is the official rating. Kuno just made it better for me, but that can't be the official one. But yeah, I agree. Brandon has to view this.
Yeah.
And hopefully,
he's never seen it.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, he's got it. But if he views the Kuno, because then maybe he has to view the regular one, because he might be like, hey, this is not as bad as everybody says, but he's got to endure those fucking shots.
And the fucking muffled conversation. I've never seen anything like it. And every movie I've seen, they couldn't even sit down and write fucking 10 minutes of dialogue. One guy could have even said, oh, she has tits like a sparrow. You know what I mean? They could have said that. Anything. Just the guy says one thing. Boy, am I ready for tonight, or something like that. Then there's a thing later when they're sitting around. The guy says, oh, you just got to grab her in the pussy or something. The guy says something like that. Something along they the 3 guys are sitting there, which we don't know. Everyone's walking up together. It's time. Dude, I know. They're walking together. Then it cuts, and you see 3 guys sitting by the woods. The girls aren't there, right? And the guy says something about, trying to get it on with the girl in the tent. Next thing it cuts again, and they're walking up the woods.
Yeah.
I don't.
Horrible. That part is horrible too. Yeah. And the editor was off the rocker there. I don't know what they were thinking there. Again, they must have been doing coke in between cuts. Anyway.
It was a cash in.
Abysmal.
Obvious.
Abysmal. It's still abysmal. Slightly less abysmal than it used to be, but abysmal nonetheless. Based on the time, I think we have to jump right into the next movie.
I know.
We did talk about this way longer than I thought, which is great. I hope everybody appreciated that since you fucking picked it.
Yeah, you guys voted. I was hoping for Deadly Spawn, but yeah.
Now, I was hoping for Mortuary so we could do Mausoleum and Mortuary. Because I got to look at Mortuary. So this was the one with the snarling tits. I barely remembered this, and you know what? Well, we'll get into it. Let me introduce the fucking thing.
Mausoleum.
Yep, there we go. Sorry. Mausoleum, 1983, of course. A 10-year-old girl mourning the death of her mother becomes possessed by a demon who's been preying, another connection, on her female ancestors for centuries. Years later, the demon starts to take over both mentally and physically.
Okay, dude, I never saw this movie until about, 2 years ago, maybe 3. I had it on Blu-ray. I had never seen it. I have the poster. It's hanging up. I love it. And I said, you know what? I should really give this movie a fucking give it a watch. It wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, but when I watched it the first time, I remember saying, man, I'm surprised I don't hear much about this movie. It's kind of a fun little flick. There's some good kills, this and that. And I was like, all right. And so going back to watch it this time, I was kind of looking forward to seeing it again. And I had a kind of a similar thing. To me, it's fun. It's just a fun fucking a guilty pleasure maybe for me, but whatever.
What? No, I'm kidding. Same experience. Absolutely. So I wanted to come down and pretend I was going to jump down your throat. This is a party movie. This is the movie that you want to have a bunch of beers with, watch with a group of friends. It is so bad, but bad in a great way. In the sense of what I mean by so bad is the filming and cinematography of this is top notch. Actually, the guy tried to make it look like an Argento film, and I'm not saying succeeded, but the colors are great. The gore is fine. It's silly. It's over the fucking top. The acting is, I want to say bad, but again, so consistently on the same level that because of the atrocious dialogue in some cases, it's so great. It's so bad good. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not articulating this right, but I like how this movie flows. I like the craziness of it. I can't say it's a great movie, but it's a fun as hell movie and has rewatchability factor because of it. So I'm with you. I'm shocked that most people. This is a forgotten. When I say treasure, it's not a 10 out of 10. It's not anything like that. But I'm saying I never expected like this, and I had a lot of fun. And I will rewatch this movie. And it's got an exploding head. So how can we not like it right out of the gate?
Yep.
Like, I love that. Like, oh no,
Yeah.
oh no, he runs out and the back of his head just explodes.
Yeah, dude.
Talk about a simple premise,
Right.
but well done. Like, literally, girl's mother dies. She wanders away to this crazy looking mausoleum that's like has all this weird stuff that no one would approach based on the way it looks, but it hypnotizes her, has her come in, lures her in, and then I guess takes her over, and then as the description tells you, rears its ugly head years later. And there's some great fucking gore moments in this movie.
Yeah, just enough to keep you going, and like I like the colors, like you said, it's got that argento for no reason. They don't have
Green,
to do that,
reds,
but they did.
purples, like it's crazy. Yeah,
it's fun to put that in there. The dialogue is fun, the kills are fun. Some of the situations that are put in, it flows okay, and it doesn't hurt to have a very attractive female who also does get naked in the lead. I'm like, okay, I'm surprised she did. Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't do more. I'm surprised her career did, because she could have done more low budget
She's like
stuff.
a Barbara Crampton, like a Barbara Crampton in this movie, like a perfect comparison in my opinion. And she carried the film, and the makeup effects, like some of that stuff, like with the green eyes is kind of silly sometimes, but sometimes it's fucking creepy. Like and then the eyes are green. Like, I was like, whoa, this is unsettling, and I like that. Like I give it credit for that. In this crazy silliness, it has something to deliver for everybody. I can't take it fully seriously, but it had great moments, and I will praise the cinematography and the editing of it. They got some great shots in there. There's the scene where she gets lured in, and you see the shadow of the hooded figure in the corner, and like kind of luring them. It really well done. There's some thought put into this. Like I would again very pleasantly surprised. I had a lot of fun with this movie, but it's silly as shit, but a lot of fun. Like, there's moments in this movie, but not just to say, I already told you, when she turns into a full creature, her tits are snarling little.
It's amazing.
Like, with teeth and whatever. Like they don't even focus on it. Like I would have been like close-ups. Like, but they don't. It's just there. It's just part of the craziness of it. She literally lifts somebody up with her possession capabilities and powers, lifts him up in a mall, puts him over the edge, and drops him and impales him on something in front of a ton of people. And the scene comes out of nowhere.
Right, dude. And then picks up her aunt in the house when she comes and sees her, lifts her up over the banister, the railing, has her midair, and then her fucking chest just rips in half. She does this with her mind. And the green eyes thing. It's inconsistent. Sometimes it doesn't look very good. Other times you're watching it and it looks great. I'm like, how come they just didn't use the same effect each time? That I don't know. But remember what I said last week, or maybe it wasn't last week. A couple shows ago, there was a movie that seemed very Italian to me, The Child. If I think about this movie now, this does seem Italian to me. It's a simple thing. The mausoleum, you go in, the colors, and the quirky characters. Because don't forget, you have fucking Aunt Ethel coming in here from freaking Sanford and Son. And she steals the show for fucking 10 minutes. She comes in, so funny. So funny. Dude, she was great. She came up the stairs and she says, I even wrote some lines down. She says,
what is her line? Yeah. I laughed.
The husband leaves, because to sum it up, she's always had these mental problems. She has a doctor. She tells her things about the family curse. He doesn't believe it. The husband knows that there's some mental history in the family, blah, blah, blah. So he calls the doctor one night, because she's acting strange. But the doctor, he has a discussion with Elise, who is Aunt Ethel, and tells her she's the what is she to work there? She's a servant that works there. Whatever. So he says something's going on. She goes, I want to leave. She goes, I could feel something. It's religious or some. She's catching a bad vibe. Bottom line, the guy leaves her work. Soon as he leaves her work, she goes up the stairs and there's smoke, right?
There's a
smoke, and this is what she says, and I love this. I had to write this down. She says, "There's some strange shit going on in this house, and I know damn well it is." She said, "I love that." She's smoked. She's bugging out. Then she runs outside, tries to get the husband, who pulls away, and she's waving her arms around. "Mr. So-and-so, come back, come back." He goes away, and then she says, these are her words again. She says, Mother, father, sucker got away, she said.
Yeah.
Mother, father. I love that. Instead of MFing, motherfucker, or fucker, mother, father, sucker got away. Then she goes back in the house, and these are her
Yeah.
words again. And you're not going to believe this. I had to show my wife this because it's Aunt Ethel, and she grew up on Sanford and Son like me. So I'm like, look at this. So she walks in the house, and she says, "Good googly boogly," she says, as an exclamation. She goes, and then my wife says, "Good googly boogly." She goes, "I just saw that in a TikTok video the other day of someone making fun of an old black lady. Like there's a guy that she watches on TikTok, and he plays roles of like the old school black mother, yelling at her kids and stuff." And I said, "Are you serious?" So she said, "I got to dig up the video." But have you ever heard that? Good boogly woogly or something like that?
No, that's hilarious.
Dude, I gotta find this thing. What are the odds? She goes, "I'm telling you, I just heard that the other day." So for whatever reason, she happened to see it, and it does exist. And I gotta play this TikTok video. Hold on, it's real quick. It's right. Okay. Nobody. Black parents for literally no particular reason at all. Her and my wife love this stuff.
Yeah.
Her and my daughter. But hold on, listen.
Good googly moogly, golly.
Okay, googly moogly, same fucking thing now, because she's been laughing about that. Right, then I happened to show her this thing. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I just happened to show her this. Funny. Yeah, this movie. Yeah, very strange. So she's a quirky character. She does her thing. It's funny. Does she actually die? I can't remember. I know the delivery.
I know. I think she runs. I thought she runs out. No, like they got the gardener who's lusting after her constantly. Boy. He gets it and then shows up at the end. He got the guy that's just delivering like random like cedars
stuff for the gardener. Yeah.
Yeah. I just delivered stuff, ma'am. He gets it. Oh my God. Yeah. There's a decent body count. They didn't shy away from the gore, so it gives you what you want. It's fucking over the top. This is not by any this is a classic in a way. What I mean by, I know it's a bad movie, but they've done everything right to make it entertaining and enjoyable throughout. And even the logic doesn't make sense. Like when the uncle comes to, or the doctor, it's not the uncle, it's the doctor, right? Or is he your uncle too? I don't know. The doctor comes at the end and puts the crown on her, and it's like he manifests the demon like out of her and it manifests back in the mausoleum. And she's like, "What's happening?" She's like, "We got no time." I'm like, how do you have no time? You can walk her to the car, tell her everything about it. You're still driving to the mausoleum. You can tell her the whole story in that time frame, but they got no time. They zoom over the mausoleum and now the creature's there and then she's got to finish it. So there's like logic like gaps that I don't know why that works, but that's totally Italian. That's why I agree with you. This is a very Italian feeling movie, from the premise, from the acting, from the script, from the colors and the delivery, but competently, I would say competently made, from the gore effects and from the cinematography and editing of it. To be honest, there's some things that they work around where they merge the faces and the creatures and they do this sort of, like layered thing. But ultimately from an 83 film, I mean, that was kind of like what they were doing at the time. I don't think it might seem a little dated now, but I really quite enjoyed this movie.
It's fun. And now I see why it won. It was a landslide. No other movie touched this. Everybody voted for it. I mean, there was a race for second place, but this was almost doubled freaking the other. So apparently, other people like the movie too, and rightfully so. Yeah. It's a fun movie. It's again, you're right. I don't want to say that it's a lost gem, but in a way it is. It's kind of a movie that not everybody may not know about. And like I said, I watched it 2 years ago for the first time, 2 or 3 years ago. So it's like, okay. It doesn't seem like it gets a lot of attention, but people do seem to like it. So I guess if I was going to make a hidden gem list again and thought about it, I wouldn't have a problem with being there. I mean, just because it's a gem doesn't mean that you're saying it's a 10 out of 10. You're just saying, you know what? This is a pretty good horror flick.
It's a hidden gem. Yeah.
It's overlooked. You know what I mean? It's just a movie you don't hear about. You know.
I remember, like you said, and again to add, you have the poster, and you said I remember seeing this in the VHS section. I'm almost positive I
Right.
saw it because I remember the tits, but I also remember reading this art review because it's the Gore Score book from way
Oh.
back when, and also ultimately Chaz Bolin he reviewed it in his Mausoleum '83. He gave it. He remember he does the 2 reviews: skulls, 2.5 skulls out of 4. And a 7 Gore score out of 10. And that seems actually very kind of like sort of in the realm of where I'd be with both. But I love it because it kind of nails it. He goes, a high fashion type gets possessed and turns really rubbery and ugly in this mindless gore fest that features snarling, slobbering killer tits that bite. Really. And that sums it up. It's mindless, but mindless fun. There doesn't have to
Right.
be always another level to these movies if they can deliver on the mindless fun. And that's why I don't think and again, I'm not trying to shit on Spookies constantly. Sorry, Dave Parker. But that's why they don't find Spookies as mindless fun, because I don't find it fucking fun. This is mindless fun to me.
Dude,
But
you took...
to each their own, right? Like, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
again, that's my preference. But that's the way I look at it.
Right before you said Spookies, I was thinking that I've said several times that there's a lot of mindless horror movies that give horror a bad name to other people, and I don't like that stuff. I don't like goofy fucking horror, goofy, mindless bullshit like that. I think it gives the genre a bad name. This is an example of a mindless, fun horror movie that I don't think does give the genre a bad name. It's played straight to a degree. You know, you don't take it seriously. Just go along for the ride. These are the kind of movies that see. I'm not pretentious about it. This is it's a fun, mindless thing. Check it out. You got even when she turns into a demon. You know, demon tits aside, just her demon head and the makeup effects for and the things that and when she cuts the guy in the bed and all that stuff, and you know she cuts him good. There's other stuff and the voice that's used, and there's enough going on here that it clicks along at a decent pace. There's not too much downtime. When you want a punchline, there's a punchline every fucking 20 minutes. You get a thing, then you know.
Well, that's it. It's like, what if the Exorcist girl grew up and it wasn't just like something happened as a kid, but it really didn't manifest until later in life? It's kind of like taking that element and then souping up everything that you saw in The Exorcist, but making it more like definitely more gory and more visceral.
Yes, but not goofy gore. See, it's not goofy gore.
No, it's still horrific. Like when the husband.
Right.
Oh,
that's horrific. What I'm saying. Give me like trauma movies or some Asian like fucking splatter flicks where I don't like it, where it's just goofy gore and the plot and the dialogue is goofy. It's goofy from a perspective of being like a film scholar that's used to watching fucking real films. They're gonna look at this and they're gonna make fun of the acting sometimes.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. Yeah, exactly.
I get that.
Optical effects used. Yeah.
But I don't think it gives the genre a bad name. Where I think those other things, they does nothing for me when I see fucking dumb looking gore and fucking splatter and the whole thing is played off as goof. That again, that's just my opinion. I think that does horror a bad name. I don't think this does. This is like watching a goofy action movie or something. I don't know, except it happens to be horror. It's just, but the gore is good. When I get good gore, maybe just because I'm a gore hound, it's going to elevate it a little bit when I'm like, okay, good job there. And this was Beekler, you said, as well?
Yeah, he at least did the creature effects. At least did the creature effects, but like, who knows? He might have been involved with all the stuff. But yeah, that head explosion at the beginning, like they deliver on the gore. There's gore in this movie. This is one of those rare ones that I don't even think was censored at the time and only got a like unrated version later. I think this was always there. And probably maybe got away with it because it wasn't a killer. It was more supernaturals, which sometimes allowed for the movies to get away with a little bit more of the red stuff back in the day. Again, I'm just going by memory and the reality of the fact that that's what we had. But yeah, I saw this because I checked it off here, meaning I know I saw it back in the day because I could not see a movie that had killer slobbering tits. But ultimately, it's a very small portion of the film. But as the movie was progressing, I'm like, this is the movie. I remember now, and I love that realization. Wow. And I remember you talking about it too. But because Gothic, I think, had eyes on the nipples or something like that, and I think maybe. I was mistaking it with that, and whatever, or I thought maybe it might have been Mortuary, but then. Nope, that was it. And then obviously then it was written in there too. But yeah, Fun to watch. It's on Shudder. If you haven't watched it yet, again, you guys might be like, what the fuck are these two talking about when you see it? This is not high art, but it's just a fun fucking ride. And, I was never bored with it. I was never bored with it. It just, because there's enough wackiness going on and enough like dialogue that is off the charts, but delivered matter-of-factly that you just buy it. Even though it's crazy.
And having her in the movie doesn't hurt. I remember the one she's in the mall. She's walking in the mall. I forgot where she was going. And before she killed the guy, and she stole that thing. And she's walking through the mall. Yeah, it is great. It's not mine. Yeah, So she's walking through the mall, and as I'm watching her going, and I'm thinking, man, if I would have been walking around the mall and I saw this girl, I have a feeling she would turn a lot of heads. This girl's very pretty. So I'm like, that doesn't hurt either to have, sorry, just to get basic as a male, but I'm sorry if I'm, a straight male, then I'm attracted to this woman. It's what can I say? She's a pretty reality. Girl, Right. It's just reality. So that doesn't hurt. So I don't know. I'm at a 7. I don't know about you.
That's bang on. That's exactly what I'd give.
Wow.
7 out of 10, like a half head, whatever it may be, in the head ratings. Like, 7 out of 10. It's a lot of fun. But not but not classic. It's just a realistic rating, I think, for this movie.
Yeah. How about that? 2 7s and 2 2s. That's funny. We really are on pace here. We're doing 2-man episodes, and we're good. Hey, by the way, say something. We're kind of enjoying the 2-man episodes thing. We're gonna try to do like guests on the BS shows. We think that maybe blends in better with a BS show. Maybe not every time, but do you guys like the guests? Every show, what we were doing prior, always having somebody there in B's absence, or do you like what we're doing with the 2-man? If anybody has a strong, opinion, let us know. As we always say, weigh in.
Well, I mean, I've gotten some feedback, and again, like without naming names or whatever like that, they say it depends on the guest, but they've enjoyed the show so far. They've enjoyed the show so far, so that tells us something. And ultimately, we're hoping B will be back sooner than later, so we'll just get back to regularly scheduled programming.
Yes, and people.
I just dropped that.
Please.
You just broke my glasses.
Give us your list. Give us your top 100 list. You have 5 months. You have till Labor Day. No rush. But if you want to do them, send them to me directly. If you're on Facebook on the Dave ZEE, I will take them. Send it to the email explodingheadshorrorpodcast@gmail.com, or send them in the group. In the Patreon. The regular Patreon page, message them to us. I'm going to be handling all of that stuff. I'm going to try to hopefully B's back for that show, because I don't want it just to be me reading it to see. If that does happen, I just might have to share it with them and we each take turns, because that'd be stupid. Just me, all right, number 100, see, you ready? I don't know. It's just, I think whatever. We'll cross that bridge if and when we come to it. But yeah, it's on. It's official. Get your 100 together. Just remember, put it in. If your number 1 movie is Evil Dead of all time, write Evil Dead, and then right to the right of it, 100. And then if your number 2 movie is Madman, see, this is the example I gave last night, because I was talking to John Rhodes. I know he loves those 2 movies. Madman, 99. So 100 for your top, and then for your number 100 movie, it's only going to be 1. Please, it makes it so much easier when you put that in there instead of me having to freaking do all that. But anyway, that's that. We have to do a drawing before we go for the next year. So. And then we'll be out. So next show we'll be able to talk about 2010 slashers. We'll answer those questions that we haven't answered yet, and we will do that. But let me pull up the randomizer. 1965 to 2014. Let's see what comes up.
Here we go. 74. Now officially the year I was born.
Wow. Yeah. Right. 74. Wow. It's a birthday special.
Yeah.
Wow.
There we go. I'm an old fuck. But yes, that we've already done
TCM.
Yeah.
1974. Do we have a minute to fuck around or no?
Yeah, we do. We have a few minutes. Let's look at the list, everybody.
Yeah, this is always fun. Horror movies 1974. I know one that's going to be there. Okay. Texas Chainsaw, Stranger in the House, It's Alive. Boy, that fucking thing always scared me, that commercial. Sugar Hill, Young Frankenstein, Death Dream. Oh boy. Beyond the Grave. Hold on, there's got to be better stuff than this. Hold on. I'm going to go to this. Abby, The Antichrist, Bad Ronald. The Bat
Oh, fuck.
People.
Abby's fun. That's the one I
Is it?
have a clip. That's the one. It's like a Black Exorcist, and again,
Oh,
like
boy.
I have that clip where she's like, "Ah," and the priest is walking towards her, and she's like, oh wait, what? I forgot the line, but it's like, uh, oh god damn it, I totally forgot. I drew a blank, but it's like motherfucker. She just yells motherfucker at the guy, and I love it. I lost my goddamn mind.
Nice.
Beyond
the Door?
That's all I remember. Beyond the Door is isn't that another Exorcist ripoff?
Might be. I think so, yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, it is. I remember that. Black Christmas, of course. Blood for Dracula. The Bloody Exorcism of Coffin Joe. Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll. Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter. Cars That Ate Paris. Chosen Survivors. Count Dracula's Great Love. Craze. Death
Chocula?
Demoniacs? I guess Demoniacs? I don't know. Deranged, Devil's Plaything, Don't Open the Door, The Eerie Midnight Show. There's a lot of movies. Exorcismo, Flavia, Heretic Priestess. Flavia reminds you of fucking, I don't know, labia or something.
Yeah. It's major or minor?
Right. Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell, Frightmare, From Beyond the Grave, The Gardener, The Ghost Galleon. Nothing's really getting me excited. Hand That Feeds the Dead, Horror High.
I had to get the quote. It's I can't believe I forgot this. It's simply hello, motherfucker.
That's it.
She says it in a demon voice, but it's absolutely hilarious. Like I lost my mind. I watched that traveling one trip because I was trying to catch up on some ones that I hadn't seen before. So, but again, I don't remember it necessarily being a standout. But we'll see because we'll be choosing between.
Never know.
I guess we'll have two of them, right, to choose from.
Yeah. The House on Skull Mountain, House of Seven Corpses, House of Whipcord, Impulse, It's Alive, Killdozer, we've already done. The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, yeah. Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, Lisa and the Devil, we've done. Lisa, and Cult Jam with Full Force. I don't know. Lorna the Exorcist, Lucifer's Women, Madeline, Madhouse. Madhouse isn't bad. Moonchild, a little
John Larroquette.
Yeah, is it him? Was he in there?
I think that was a comedy that came out in the '80s. That was with him in it.
How about Moonchild? Fucking your track.
Oh, is that Iron Maiden? Yeah.
Yeah, your favorite album. Night of the Sorcerers, Nude for Satan, People's Toys, Persecution, Seizures, Shanks, Sugar Hill, Symptoms, Texas Chainsaw, Thirsty Dead Vampires, Pyres, and the Voodoo Black Exorcist. Not a lot fucking jumping out at me.
Well, we've done Black Christmas, right? We've done that officially. Yeah, we
never reviewed it. No, we haven't.
I thought we have.
I've never officially reviewed it. Well, no, I did on Cut to the Chase as the guest. I'm
almost positive we did on this show.
We talked the fuck out of it on the Slasher show and on subsequent shows after that because people were sharing what they were saying that I had to say about it, and I did this and that and the other thing. We've never sat down and reviewed it, believe it or not.
I still think we've talked about it too much for it to be an option.
True. I
really do. Like Texas Chainsaw, we've done officially, and if we haven't done Black Christmas officially, like you, I agree. I think you're right. We've talked about it probably too much to have it as an option, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. There's a lot of other ones too on IMDb, and Knife for the Lady, Act of Vengeance.
Ghost Galleon we did already too. Yeah, my God, we've done.
Black Mamba, Legacy. Oh, it's funny. A lot of these have different names. Legacy of Satan or Blood. Something's got to jump out at me. Nothing hasn't. Nothing's really.
The Phantom of Paradise is. I don't know if it's straight. If you consider it straight-laced horror. That's Brian De Palma. So that's why I'd be interested in revisiting that again as well. But
that could be one. How about Frightmare? It's a 6.2. Wow.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I don't remember because I confuse. I think I'm thinking of the one from the 80 something, which I think was also called Frightmare. But this one I think is well received. The one I was thinking of is the one where the killer, where it's like the horror host dies. And it's like not the cult or his fans kind of bring him back. They go to the apartment, and he attacked Pretty sure that was called Frightmare as well from the 80s.
Oh,
But this
well,
is a different one.
Man, maybe we should do two. What do you call it? Maybe we should do two Exorcist ripoffs. Abby and fucking what was it? Beyond the Door? Is that the?
Well, we'll probably have to put it. We'll have to put it to a vote again. I think
We
maybe
might
we
have
could
to,
pick
huh?
four. Pick four and let it go to a vote. I don't mind doing that because at least we're choosing the ones that we're kind of like interested in doing. We put the Prey in there because we knew that if we didn't, we would have been destroyed.
People want to, yeah, they wanted to hear about it. They got it.
And
you
they
know?
chose it. Yeah.
Well, Ghost Story from 1974. Wow, interesting. I like to look at the several.
Is Young Frankenstein too comedic? I don't think that we could probably get away with that one. Could we?
I don't know. I do.
Put the candle back.
Rolls ahead. Rolls.
Whatever you do, don't put the candle back.
It's a great fucking movie, man.
That movie. Yeah.
Dude, Ghost Story, 1974. Several old college friends converge at a mansion, ostensibly for a pleasant reunion.
It's Japanese,
Talbot,
right?
the most easygoing of the bunch, comes to the conclusion that not all is well in the old dark house. For one thing, he's run across several people whom he's never met. For another, they all seem to be from a different time and place. Wow. You think it's Japanese? Let's see.
I don't know, but I think we're
No.
gonna have to just make sure that whatever we pick.
Mary Ann Faithful, Barbara Shelley. Interesting.
That's totally Japanese.
Is it?
No.
Mary Ann Faithful, yeah, she fucking Japanese shit. Interesting. Oh, there was something I wanted to tell you about the director, but we can't. Damn it, we gotta go. The actor from Mausoleum, the lead guy, her husband, was a 4-year-old minister at one point, and he got involved in all this minister stuff. He was raised very, very fucking strict.
4-year-old minister?
4. He fucking was advertised as the 4-year-old minister. He was preaching and later on in life he came out to expose these faith healers and this and that as fucking frauds. And then do all this crazy shit. I wish I could have got into it. But
This is the actor in Mausoleum or the director of Mausoleum?
yes, the actor of Mausoleum. The lead guy, her husband. What was his name? Steven or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
We've already talked about him. Either way, maybe on a BS show we'll save it and we'll see what we're gonna do. We gotta go. We gotta go. That's it. So thank you, everybody.
1974 next week or next time. Great.
1974. We love you guys, and we'll see you next show. So, thank you.
Yes. Take care, everybody.
You say,